Chapter 69. Now they know that we can't make a fuss, so they are doing this. If we don't do anything, the situation will become more and more passive, Aoyukuin said. I understand. The key is how to resolve this situation. Since Taishian Peak has made a move, it means that they know that we are looking for assassins. They will not give up easily. Aoyushan wished he could cut down Aolai, who was lying there and screaming. Aoyukuin looked at Aolai and was very angry. If he hadn't provoked someone he shouldn't have, this wouldn't have happened. Bear with it for now. Tell everyone in the family not to go out. Tell the caravans and medicine shops to stop doing business first. Maybe they will calm down when they see that we admit defeat. Aoyushan could only think of this solution. However, things were not over yet. Overnight, the medicine warehouse of the Ao family was set on fire, and all the tamed animals in the training ground were killed. This caused the Ao family to suffer a great loss. It could be said that they suffered a great loss. Aoyushan's eyes turned blue when he heard the news in the city lord's office. In the end, he decided to ask his master for help. His master was the elder of Medicine Valley. Medicine Valley was divided into 12 peaks. Each peak had its own master, elders, and guardians. Medicine Valley also had the elders and guardians who were in charge of the 12 peaks. The elders of Medicine Valley were superior to the masters and elders of each peak. Positive. Version ahead M hair kg. There were two ways to produce a master of each peak. One was to be a disciple of the master of the peak. The other was to be a master of Medicine Valley, who was outstanding. Aoyushan and Yuan Tai were both disciples of Lu Chenyan, the fourth elder of Medicine Valley. Now that Aoyushan couldn't control the situation, he could only explain the situation to his master and ask for help from Medicine Valley to stop Taishian Peak. Aoyushan told Lu Chenyan about the situation at the back of Danding Peak in Medicine Valley. What a good for nothing. You're still looking for assassins. You're shooting yourself in the foot. They didn't follow the rules in Danding City. You couldn't suppress them, so you came back to find people to deal with them. What is this? Do you think Yu Yangyu is easy to talk to? Lu Chenyan was furious after hearing Yu Yangyu's report. He knew that it was hard to talk to Yu Yangyu, especially when it came to his disciples. That was his reverse scale. The incident with Guan Yi was an example. At that time, Yu Yangyu didn't give face to anyone. Lu Chenyan's seniority was higher than Yu Yangyu's, but his strength was not as good as Yu Yangyu's. Using the power of the sect to suppress Yu Yangyu was useless. Not to mention that Yu Yangyu had a good relationship with the Great Elder and the Valley Master. Yu Yangyu also had a master. Night Sorrow didn't know about this. He was in the middle of breaking through to the 7th level of the blood refining realm. To break through to the 6th level of the blood refining realm, one needed to open the dragon tendons in the 4 limbs. To break through to the 7th level, one needed to open the small tendons in the hands and feet to strengthen the body. The hands and feet took up very little space in the body, but they were the most important places to attack in battle. Furthermore, the tendons were the most abundant. Night Sorrow's dragon tendons, neck, and 4 limbs were all filled with energy. Now he had enough energy to continue developing his body. He was developing his hands and feet. This time, the one helping Night Sorrow was Tianyu. Emo-chun, Aoi Yonglei, and Shi Tianlin were dealing with Aoyushan. As the myriad Daotome's energy surged, the tendons in Night Sorrow's hands were opened one by one. At this moment, Night Sorrow only felt one thing: pain. As the saying goes, the 10 fingers are connected to the heart. The energy surging through the tendons in the hands and feet brought Night Sorrow too much pain. After using 6 hours to open the tendons in his hands and feet, Night Sorrow's entire body was soaked with sweat. Even his hair was stuck to his face. After successfully breaking through, Night Sorrow stretched out his hands and clenched his fists. Immediately, cracking sounds came from his hands. Night Sorrow knew that the strength in his hands had increased by a lot. After leaving the room, Night Sorrow saw his 2 senior sisters, 8th senior brother Shi Tianlin, and 11th senior brother drinking tea in the courtyard. I'm going to take a bath first. Night Sorrow finished speaking and went to take a bath. What the hell is 13 cultivating? Why is he so miserable? Shi Tianlin frowned as he watched Night Sorrow go to take a bath. If Master hears this, he'll definitely beat you up. Can't you see that his blood chi has increased by a lot? Aoi looked at Shi Tianlin and said, that's because he's cultivating a special technique. This will delay his cultivation of true chi, Shi Tianlin said. 8th senior brother, 13's cultivation is now at chi refining stage 9. How long has it been since he entered the sect? How is it delayed? Yang Lei said with a smile. Yeah, no matter how fast he is, his foundation will be unstable. Shi Tianlin nodded. Senior brothers, senior sisters. After taking a bath, Night Sorrow came over to greet them. You've grown a lot taller. How's your cultivation? Yang Lei asked after pouring a cup of tea for Night Sorrow. Thank you for your concern, 9th senior sister. Everything's going well. How about you guys? How's everything going? Night Sorrow asked. Of course it's going well. That old dog is pissed off now. Our people noticed that he went to Pill Cauldron Mountain. He's probably looking for the sect to settle it, Yang Lei said with a smile. I don't know how the sect will deal with this. They'll probably stop us, right? Emochin said. Right now, we need to think about how to compensate him. If he can't give us a satisfactory compensation, then he'll continue to torture us, Aoi said. Senior brothers, senior sisters, be careful. Don't push him too far. Night Sorrow was a little worried. 13, don't worry. If he has the strength to attack us, he won't go to the sect, Shi Tianlin said with a smile. As they chatted, Night Sorrow took out 2 bare legs from his storage belt and had Zhang Dekhang prepare them. 13, pay more attention to actual combat. I heard that each peak has outstanding outer disciples participating in this year's competition. Their target is our Taishan Peak's 13 newcomers. Currently, our 13 newcomers aren't too far behind in cultivation, but their actual combat ability still needs to be tested. The only ones who can truly fight are Ma Zhuang, Tang Tian, and Chu Ning. But if we want to take first place in the competition, we'll still have to rely on you, Yang Lei said. I'll do my best. Night Sorrow nodded. After chatting with Night Sorrow for a while, they left to continue looking for opportunities to deal with Ao Yushan. After chatting with Night Sorrow for a while, they left to continue looking for opportunities to deal with Ao Yushan. On the other hand, Night Sorrow had to adapt to his 7th level blood refinement realm strength as quickly as possible. It was almost the beginning of the month, and he had to fight for missions. He cultivated steadily for 2 days. While increasing his chi cultivation, he also stabilized his 7th level blood refinement realm cultivation. Early in the morning, Danding City was very quiet. Night Sorrow arrived at Tianji Tower early. When he arrived, Tianji Tower was still closed, so he waited for a while. The moment Tianji Tower opened, Night Sorrow entered Tianji Tower. As soon as Yishang entered the Empyrean Terminus Tower, he saw Sikong Chiyu, who was wearing a light blue robe and a veil, walking down the stairs. Behind her were Enforcer Dong and 2 managers of the Empyrean Terminus Tower. You're here. Sikong Chiyu greeted Night Sorrow with a smile. Night Sorrow nodded. I'm here to accept a mission. Chapter 70. After receiving the mission list from Sikong Chiyu, Night Sorrow didn't even bother to drink the tea that the waiter had brought him. He started to list the missions. This one, and this one. Night Sorrow accepted 15 missions in one go. It could be said that he had accepted all the Black Iron missions that didn't waste his energy and had high points. Send them to Enforcer Dong. After helping Night Sorrow organize the missions, Sikong Chiyu handed the mission list to the waiter. Thank you very much. Night Sorrow knew that the Sikong Chiyu's help was a big reason why he was able to accept the missions so easily. It's nothing. After you finish this mission, you will probably be able to enter the Bronze Order level. There's no need to rush now. Take your time and drink your tea. Sikong Chiyu said with a smile. You look so beautiful when you smile. Night Sorrow took a sip of tea and said. This came from his heart, so it didn't sound fake. Instead, it sounded very sincere. Do you often say this to girls? Sikong Chiyu looked into Night Sorrow's eyes and asked. I only know 2 senior sisters. The other one is my 3rd senior brother's disciple. Sorry for being rude. At this moment, Night Sorrow felt that what he had said just now might have been inappropriate. He immediately stood up and apologized. F. Latest chapter unspecified currency section 2 Supra 3U. Sit down. I know you don't mean anything else. You just said whatever comes to your mind. It's very sincere. By the way, you have a mission to collect purple gold right? Sikong Chiyu asked. Yes. The mission location is a little far. Even if I have a flying demon beast, it will take me 2 days to get there. Knight Sorrow nodded. Purple gold, or was a rare material for refining weapons. Now that Danding City was in short supply, someone had issued this mission. I have a mission to hunt down a purple gold lizard. When are you going? Give me a shout, Sikong Chiyu said. All right, then I'll finish all the quests that have a time limit and come look for you. Knight Sorrow nodded. When Knight Sorrow and Sikong Chiyu came out of the private room, the lobby of Tianji Tower was bustling again. Many of them were disciples of the Medicine Valley, including Qin Zhan, Qin Hai, and Kong Jun. There were also disciples of the Wangyan Peak. In addition, Knight Sorrow also saw the Enlightenment who helped him in the Grass Valley. Thank you for your help last time, Senior Enlightenment. Knight Sorrow greeted Enlightenment. Don't. There's a difference in seniority. I'm a third-generation disciple of Danding Peak. You're my junior master. Hearing Knight Sorrow's words, Enlightenment hurriedly waved his hand. In Medicine Valley, seniority was very important. If word got out that Knight Sorrow called him senior brother, there would be a big problem. Is that so? I didn't know. Are you here for a mission too? Knight Sorrow asked. That's right. I've brought a few outer sect disciples of Danding Peak here, to pick up some missions to train them up. I wonder which B***star took all the good missions away. Qi Ming said angrily. Knight Sorrow was depressed. How did he become a bastard just because he accepted some missions? What I want to say is that Knight Sorrow accepted quite a number of missions. Sikong Chiyu looked at Knight Sorrow's troubled face and said, Junior Master, I don't mean anything else. I don't mean to scold you. Hearing Sikong Chiyu's words, Qi Ming froze for a moment, and his face immediately turned green. This problem could be big or small. If the horny students of Taishian Peak knew about it, then their days would not be easy. I know. It's okay. Let's drink together when we have time, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Although he was depressed, he knew that enlightenment did not mean it. Besides, he still owed enlightenment a favor. Why would he care about this? That's good. Go ahead, Junior Master. Qi Ming saw that Yishang was not fussing, so he thought even more highly of Yishang. These days, there were too many second-generation masters. It was common for them to flaunt their prowess by relying on their father's or master's reputation. But Yishang was still calm. After exiting the gates of the Celestial Terminus Tower, Yishang turned around and waved at Sikong Chiyu. Then he got on the beast carriage and headed towards the city gate. There were a few missions that had a time limit, so he had to hurry up and complete them. While Knight Sorrow was doing his mission, the first elder and the fourth elder of Medicine Valley, Lu Chenyan, took Ao Yushan to Jingxin Cliff of Taishian Peak. Jingxin Cliff was where Yu Yangyu lived. When the three of them arrived at Jingxin Cliff, Nan Nan and Gong Xian were asking Yu Yangyu some questions about cultivation. First elder and fourth elder are here. Please take a seat. Yu Yangyu cupped his hands at the first elder who was holding a walking stick. Your place is much quieter. The first elder smiled and sat down. Yangyu, I've brought my good-for-nothing disciple here to apologize to you, Lu Chenyan said. Yu Yangyu lowered his head and took a sip of tea. He did not say anything. Yangyu, this matter needs to be resolved. The fourth elder also just found out about it. Didn't he come here immediately? The first elder said when he saw the awkward silence. Then I won't beat around the bush. Ao Yushan, how dare you hire assassins to deal with my disciple? If anything happens to my disciple, I'll wipe out your entire family. Yu Yangyu waved his sleeve and slapped Ao Yushan, causing him to stagger. I was confused. Ao Yushan did not dare to show any dissatisfaction. You dare to touch my junior brother? I'll kill you. Gong Xian, who did not know about this matter, stood up with a murderous look on his face. Calm down. Yu Yangyu stopped Gong Xian. Yangyu, Yushan is in the wrong. Now that the Ao family has suffered heavy losses, let's see how we can settle this. Lu Chenyan said. First elder, what do you think? Yu Yangyu looked at the first elder and asked. I'm just a middleman for you. Let's sit down and settle this matter. It's up to you how you want to settle it. The first elder shook his head. I'm willing to compensate. Tell them to stop messing around. Ao Yushan said with a bitter face. How? If there are people who secretly deal with my Taishan Peak's disciples in the future, and ask for compensation after being discovered, how can this matter be settled? Yu Yangyu snorted coldly. Yangyu, I'll vouch for him this time. If he still holds a grudge and does anything else, I'll kill him myself, Lu Chenyan said. I'll give face to the fourth elder and the first elder. Tell me your compensation. Yu Yangyu said. I'll give you 30 upper-grade spirit stones and a courtyard in the Longquan Mountain, Ao Yushan said. Lu Chenyan really wanted to slap Ao Yushan. Yu Yangyu said that he would give face to him and the first elder, so he only needed to compensate them appropriately. Now that he had to compensate them with 30 upper-grade spirit stones and a courtyard in the Longquan Mountain, his heart ached. 30 upper-grade spirit stones were all the Ao family had. The fourth elder only had this much. As for the courtyard in the Longquan Mountain Villa, it was even more precious. There were 2 scenic spots around Danding City. One was the Greenstone Forest, and the other was the Longquan Mountain. At the foot of the Longquan Mountain was the Skywater Lake. The Longquan Mountain Villa only had one courtyard, which was the property of the Ao family. This courtyard was precious not only because of the land, but also because it was located in a natural formation. It could absorb the water spirit chi of the Skywater Lake, which could calm people's mind. Then let's do it. Gongxian, you go and receive it and give it to 13, Yu Yangyu said. Chapter 71. Lu Chenyan and Ao Yushan's expressions changed. Great elder, it's not that serious, is it? Lu Chenyan asked. This is an order from the Grand Elder Council. There are some things that you don't need to know. Also, let me tell you, Yishan has my medallion on him right now. Nothing happened to him, but if something did happen, humph. The Grand Elder harumphed twice, then stood up and left. Look at what you've done. Lu Chenyan glared at Ao Yushan, and left without caring about it. Alright Gongxian, follow him and complete the task. Yu Yangyu waved to Gongxian and Ao Yushan. Ao Yushan, who walked down Taishan Peak, was still in shock. He knew that he had asked for peace, or the consequences would be very serious. This time, Night Sorrow completed all 5 missions with a time limit before returning to the Celestial Terminus Tower. Si Kongqiu was not there. Night Sorrow handed in the tasks to the ordinary staff and returned to the inn. In the inn, Night Sorrow saw Yang Lei and Mo Chun. To his surprise, Gongxian was also there. Little 13, you're back. How are the tasks? Gongxian asked with a smile. I've completed all the time-limited tasks. The rest can be done slowly. Why are you here, great senior brother? Night Sorrow sat down and asked. To give you something good. Ao Yushan gave in and gave you 30 high-grade spirit stones. I'm so jealous. Gongxian handed a bag of spirit stones to Night Sorrow. I don't want this. Great senior brother, you can take it and distribute it to the senior brothers and sisters. Night Sorrow pushed the bag of spirit stones back to Gongxian. This is what you should take. Gongxian shook his head. I need spirit stones. I'll work hard. These are what you guys fought for. I don't want them. Night Sorrow shook his head. Gongxian and Yang Lei looked at each other, not knowing what to do. All right, your 2 senior brothers and senior sister have also worried a lot during this period of time. Old 6th, you guys take it and divide it. Gongxian handed the bag of spirit stones to Qingji. How can we do that? 13, you can take it. It's all for senior brothers and sisters. Don't mind it. Aoi said. 6th senior sister, I really don't need it now. You guys can have it. Night Sorrow said. Us senior brothers and senior sisters will face difficulties together. If there is wine and meat, we will eat together. Each of us will get 2 pieces and give the rest to Master. Aoi made her decision. She opened the bag, took out 2 spirit stones, and pushed them in front of Night Sorrow. This time, Night Sorrow didn't refuse. He also took 2 spirit stones. Aoi's words were reasonable. If he didn't take it, It meant that he didn't agree. Yang Lei and Shi Tianlin each took 2 spirit stones. Then they passed the bag to Gong Xian. We'll divide the spirit stones like this. There's also a compensation. 13. Come with me to receive it later. Gong Xian said. Receive what? Night Sorrow took a sip of tea and asked. There are 2 compensation. One is spirit stones, and the other is a villa. You don't have to stay in the inn in Danding City anymore. Let's go now. Gong Xian stood up and said. Dek Hang, arrange 2 servants to help 13 look after the villa. Emochen said to Zhang Dekhang when they left the inn. After finding 2 beast carriages, the group took the 2 servants arranged by Zhang Dekhang and walked towards the south gate of Danding City. After exiting the city gate, it took an hour for the group to reach the lakeside of Skywata Lake. They arrived at a very simple manor. When they arrived at the entrance of the manor, a steward appeared. Excuse me, are you from Taishian Peak? Is Master Knight here? I am Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow took 2 steps forward and said. The city lord said that if Master Knight is here, we can leave. This is the deed. The old butler handed a brocade box to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow opened the brocade box and saw that it was the deed for the villa. It also included the ownership of the surrounding 30 miles. In other words, this area was private property. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave. The old butler bowed to Night Sorrow and the others and left with a few servants. 13. This will be your territory from now on. Xiaoyozi, you guys go and tidy up. Emochen shouted to one of the servants sent by Zhang Dekhang. This person had been serving him and Night Sorrow for a long time, and was quite familiar with him. Okay. Xiaoyozi ran in and opened the door. 11. You have a sense of accomplishment when you call him Xiaoyozi. Always squinted at Emochen. Gosh. 6. Senior sister, don't think too much. I didn't mean it. Hearing Always words, Emochen slapped his forehead. He knew that he shouldn't call him Xiaoyozi in the future. The villa was very grand. Not to mention the surrounding pavilions, the 3-story main building was very grand. There were wood and stone carvings in the hall. These decorations are expensive. Why didn't they take them away? Yang Lei sat on an armchair and said. He's trying to be friendly. He knows that if we can't take this lying down, we won't let him off. Gong Xian also sat down. Entering this villa gives me a refreshing feeling. Night Sorrow took a deep breath and said. Yang Lei and Night Sorrow strolled back and forth in the hall, looking at the villa. Gong Xian talked about the most precious parts of the villa and the natural formation. Look at 6th edition #, Chapter 1. No wonder 13 said that he felt relaxed and happy. I also feel that my mind is clear, Qingji said. Eldest senior brother, look. Night Sorrow took out the brocade box. Stop. I know what you want to say. There's no need for so many things between us brothers. Just take it. This was arranged by First Elder and Master. Gong Xian directly interrupted Night Sorrow. He knew that Night Sorrow didn't want it, so he quickly covered Night Sorrow's mouth. 13. Just stay. Don't make things difficult for our senior brother. Besides, our senior brothers and sisters have their own strongholds in the future, right? Emochen said. All right then. Night Sorrow didn't refuse. Go get us something to eat. We want to have a drink. Emochen called out to Little Six. He didn't dare to call out to Little Six because he was afraid that Aoi would punish him. Taishian Peak disciples had an order of seniority. The younger ones would always listen to the older ones, even if they were wrong. This was Yu Yangyu's rule. Therefore, Emochen and Shi Tianlin didn't refute Aoi and Yang Lei's words. 13. Leave a pavilion for 9th senior sister. She'll be in seclusion soon. Yang Lei said to Night Sorrow. Of course we definitely will. There are so many pavilions here. Senior brothers and sisters will all have a place, said Yishang. While Little Six was preparing to eat, Night Sorrow and the others strolled back and forth in the villa, looking at it. They're all precious trees. The rockery is made of black jade. The pond is made of green jade. The Ao family is really powerful, Emochen said with some emotion in the garden in front of the villa. You don't know. This was passed down from the ancestors of the Ao family, for who knows how many years. Therefore the Ao family suffered a great loss this time. Gongxian said. Chapter 72. There were odd-job workers and maidservants in secluded forest cottage. Odd-job workers were registered in the Medicine Valley, but maidservants were not. Maidservants belonged to individuals. The maidservants in secluded forest cottage were rescued by Qingji when she was out training. Senior sister, am I that kind of person? Night Sorrow said with a wry smile. I'm not saying you're that kind of person. I just have to remind you of something, Aoi said with a smile. Actually, your sixth senior sister is right. Many women are more scheming. Someone like you is their goal to change their life and destiny, Gongxian said. I understand, Night Sorrow nodded. After eating and staying for a while, Gongxian, Aoi and Shi Tianlin left. Yang Lei was going to cultivate in seclusion at Night Sorrow's place. Mo Chun had nothing else to do, so he planned to watch over Night Sorrow for a while longer. Yang Lei chose a loft near Skywata Lake and let out her blue condor. Mo Chun also chose a place near the main building. Night Sorrow arranged for Tianyu to stay in the area next to the main building. After that, Night Sorrow left some gold notes for Little Six to buy some demon corpses to feed his, Aoi's and Mo Chen's flying beasts. He also wanted to buy a beast carriage. After explaining everything, Yishang went to cultivate. After settling down for 2 days, Night Sorrow took the beast carriage to Tianji Tower. He told the staff that he wanted to see Sikong Chiyu, because he was going to do the purple gold mine mission. After Night Sorrow drank a cup of tea, Sikong Chiyu, who was wearing a long robe and a veil, came to the private room. You're here. Are you going to do the purple gold mine mission? Sikong Chiyu pulled the veil and sat down. That's right. I've already finished the missions with a tight time limit. I was afraid that you'd be anxious, so I wanted to do the purple gold mine first, Night Sorrow said. Okay, is there anything else you need to prepare? Sikong Chiyu asked. No, what about you? Night Sorrow asked. There's nothing much to prepare. Let's go. Sikong Chiyu stood up and said. Once they were out of Tianji Tower, the two of them hailed a beast carriage and headed out of Danding City. What compensation did Ao Yushan give you this time? Sitting in the beast carriage, Sikong Chiyu looked at Night Sorrow with a smile. 30 spirit stones and a courtyard. How did you know? After answering, Night Sorrow asked in astonishment. You don't know much about Tianji Tower. You can tell them some things. As long as Tianji Tower wants to know, they'll know, Sikong Chiyu said. Night Sorrow moved his body. He was sitting face to face with Sikong Chiyu. Sikong Chiyu's breath made him feel uneasy. What's wrong with you? There's no need to reject me. I don't mean any harm, Sikong Chiyu explained. She saw Night Sorrow move his body and thought Night Sorrow was rejecting her. I know. Night Sorrow took a deep breath and calmed himself down. And don't think too much about it. The Empyrean Extreme Tower has issued all kinds of missions, so the Empyrean Extreme Tower in various places are aware of the movements of various forces. However, none of them are hostile, Sikong Chiyu said. I understand. Yishang nodded and didn't say anything else. Seeing that Yishang didn't speak, Sikong Chiyu also didn't continue to speak. She felt that Yishang was a bit strange. Although he said he was rejecting her, he wasn't rejecting her, but his situation was clearly different from before. After leaving Danding City, Sikong Chiyu paid the fare. Where's your flying tamed beast? Sikong Chiyu asked Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded and let Tianyu out. After exiting the tamed beast space, Tianyu let out a cry and rubbed his head against Night Sorrow's shoulder. This is? An ancient mutant with the bloodline of the ancient Azure Rock in intelligence? Sikong Chiyu asked in surprise. Looking at Tianyu, Sikong Chiyu asked. My master said that he has the bloodline of the ancient Azure Rock and Xuanwan. However, he's still young and his bloodline power hasn't awakened yet. Night Sorrow said as he stroked Tianyu. Your master really treasures you. He got you such a promising beast, Sikong Chiyu said as she looked at Tianyu. No, it was injured a while ago. I brought it back to my place and it followed me. It even saved my life. Night Sorrow reached out and smoothed the feathers on Tianyu's neck. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Sikong Chiyu straightened her body and began to look at Night Sorrow. She now felt that Night Sorrow was even more ridiculous than Tianyu. He could casually pick up a beast with the bloodline of an ancient mutant beast. Wasn't that even more unbelievable? Seekong, do you have a flying beast? Night Sorrow asked. Although I really want to sit on your flying demonic beast, I do have a flying demonic beast. Seekong Chiyu raised her jade arm, and a fiery red flying demonic beast appeared in Yishang's field of vision. When the fiery red flying beast appeared, Tianyu stretched out his body and got into an attacking posture. Tianyu. Night Sorrow stood in front of Tianyu. /Moinute. Chapter * top Fire Phoenix. Seekong Chiyu also stood in front of the fiery red flying beast. At this moment, Night Sorrow finally had the time to carefully look at Seekong Chiyu's flying beast. It was a fiery red flying beast that was several times larger than Tianyu's body. It was very similar to the phoenix that Night Sorrow had seen in the Fae catalog. It has the bloodline of an ancient mutant beast, the Fire Phoenix. Because it is female, I call it the Fire Phoenix, Seekong Chiyu said. It is indeed very handsome. Night Sorrow had to nod his head. The Fire Phoenix was now much more impressive than Tianyu. After all, it was in a different stage of growth. However, Tianyu didn't admit defeat, and kept staring at the Fire Phoenix with his golden eyes. How about this? Your Tianyu is still young, and will be slower. You can ride the Fire Phoenix with me. Seekong Chiyu looked at Night Sorrow and said, Seekong, you go first. I will take my time. Night Sorrow understood that following Seekong Chiyu wasn't just on the way. It was completely borrowing her light. It's okay. This is a mining mission. Let's go. Seekong Chiyu could see that Night Sorrow didn't want to trouble her. This made her think even more highly of Night Sorrow. This was a proud character that didn't accept charity. I think it's better not. Night Sorrow shook his head. What's wrong with you? I've waited for a few days, and you're not coming? Aren't we friends? Seekong Chiyu finished speaking and walked to Night Sorrow's side. She grabbed Night Sorrow's arm and floated onto the Fire Phoenix's back. Then she let the Fire Phoenix fly into the sky. When the Fire Phoenix flew into the sky, Tianyu also flew into the sky. Seekong. Night Sorrow didn't know what to say. Not friends. Seekong had helped him a few times, but he wasn't used to this. Well, it's just a mission together. When we reach the place, you do your thing. I won't help you, Seekong said with a smile. At the same time, she let go of Night Sorrow's arm and moved to the back of the Fire Phoenix's neck. She pulled the veil and sat down. Thank you, Seekong. Night Sorrow also sat down. You idiot, can't you come over here? The wind is so strong over there. Seeing Night Sorrow sit down at the back of the Fire Phoenix, Seekong said with some disappointment. Chapter 73. Looking at Night Sorrow's slightly red face, Seekong Chiyu understood what was going on. Night Sorrow was nervous and embarrassed. Go starter 0-inch Seekong. How about I put Tianyu away? Your Fire Phoenix is too fast. If Tianyu flies at full speed for too long, it won't be able to withstand it. After flying for a quarter of an hour, Night Sorrow said. Seekong Chiyu nodded and controlled the Fire Phoenix to slow down. Then he let Night Sorrow put Tianyu back into the beast taming space. In a day's time, Seekong Chiyu and Night Sorrow arrived at the Purple Gold Mountain. After controlling the Fire Phoenix to land, Seekong Chiyu looked at Night Sorrow. Let's go hunt the Purple Gold Beast King first. There must be high purity purple gold where it lives. I'll listen to you. Night Sorrow nodded. Okay, then let's go. Seekong Chiyu led the way in front. Seekong, what level is the Purple Gold Beast King? Night Sorrow, who was beside Seekong Chiyu, asked. According to the mission, the Purple Gold Beast King is a rank 4 beast. Seekong Chiyu threw out words that made Night Sorrow dumbfounded. Ah. Night Sorrow was stunned. He had never even seen a rank 3 beast king before. Now Seekong Chiyu wanted to kill a rank 4 beast king. Hee. Why are you so nervous? I'm the one who's going to kill it, not you. Seekong Chiyu said with a smile. I'm not nervous. I'm shocked. I didn't expect Seekong to be so powerful. Night Sorrow knew that Seekong's cultivation was high. The lowest was rank 4 spirit severing stage or above. Mo Chun, who was at the peak of core condensation, couldn't see through her cultivation. When you reach my age, You will be even more powerful than me. Sikong did not reveal his cultivation level. Then Sikong, how old are you this year? Knight Sorrow regretted the moment he asked the question. It was a little rude to ask such a question to a woman. Haha, you also know that this question is inappropriate. Seeing the change in Yi Shang's expression, Sikong Chiyu understood Yi Shang's psychological situation. I'm sorry, Knight Sorrow said after a moment of hesitation. Sikong Chiyu smiled and walked up Mount Jijin without another word. The purple gold mountain had a radius of several thousand miles, but there were not many places that produced purple gold. Many people came here to seek for gold, but very few people had any gains. The most common demonic beast on Mount Jijin was the purple gold beast. This demonic beast relied on consuming purple gold to survive. Its level was not high, but its combat power was very strong. High-level cultivators disdained to dig for purple gold, and low-level cultivators could not dig for purple gold, so purple gold was scarce. Do you have a target? Knight Sorrow asked when he saw Sikong Chiyu walking forward without hesitation. Yes, I've seen the map. I know where the purple gold beast king is. Sikong Chiyu, who was walking in front, turned around and said. The moment she turned around, Knight Sorrow, who was walking behind her, was caught off guard. He bumped into Sikong Chiyu. When Knight Sorrow stopped, the two of them were only half a foot apart. Smelling Sikong Chiyu's scent, Knight Sorrow hurriedly took a step back. Sikong Chiyu also took a step back. What are you doing? Sikong Chiyu's face turned red. She had never been so close to a man before. How would I know you would stop? Knight Sorrow said, feeling wronged. Yes, let's go. It's still early. If possible, let's finish the mission today before resting, Sikong Chiyu said. Sikong Chiyu walked in front, and Knight Sorrow followed closely behind. Sikong, since you know the location, why don't you ride the Fire Phoenix directly to the target location? Knight Sorrow was confused. You don't understand. The purple gold beast feeds on purple gold, and its body contains purple gold impurities. These impurities are very corrosive. We don't know where the purple gold beast is hiding on Purple Gold Mountain, but if a purple gold beast sprays purple gold impurities at the Fire Phoenix, the Fire Phoenix will be injured, Sikong Chiyu explained to Knight Sorrow. However, he did not stop walking. Knight Sorrow understood. Riding a flying Yao beast was dangerous. Just as Knight Sorrow was thinking about this problem, a long sword appeared in Sikong Chiyu's hand. He swung his sword forward. After the sword light flashed, a light purple Yao beast that was 4 feet long and had sharp claws was cut in half. After killing a purple gold beast with a single sword strike, Sikong Chiyu continued forward. Fast. This sword was too fast. The purple gold beast was very fast, but it was too slow in front of Sikong Chiyu's sword. Knight Sorrow took out his reincarnation spear and followed behind Sikong Chiyu. Sikong Chiyu was leading the way, and Knight Sorrow's job was to cover the rear. After advancing for about 2 hours, Sikong Chiyu stopped. She twisted her delicate body and looked at Knight Sorrow. The purple gold beast king is in the cave up ahead. It's already heading outside. Retreat, don't go forward. Knight Sorrow took a few steps back. He knew that this kind of battle wasn't something he could participate in. Holding his long sword, Sikong Chiyu stared ahead. Not good, retreat. Sikong Chiyu's body flashed. She grabbed Knight Sorrow's shoulder and flashed away quickly. Knight Sorrow turned his head to look. A Yao beast that was more than 1 zhang tall and covered in purple gold scales appeared. It was originally lying on the ground, but after it leaped up, Knight Sorrow saw its sharp claws shining with a metallic light. After this Yao beast leaped up, it didn't land on the ground. Instead, it flew directly towards Sikong Chiyu and Knight Sorrow. This damned information. The purple gold beast king has reached the peak of rank 4. Hurry up and leave. Sikong Chiyu waved her arm and flung Knight Sorrow away. After landing on the ground, Knight Sorrow looked up. Sikong Chiyu's body was fluttering in the wind. The long sword in her hand was attacking continuously, fighting with the purple gold beast king in the air. Then she landed on the ground and soared into the air again. 1 man and 1 beast kept attacking each other. No matter if it was a man or a Yao beast, once they reached rank 4, they would be able to fly for a short period of time. Currently, Seikongchiyu and the Purple Gold Beast King were in this state. The Purple Gold Beast King was suppressing Seikongchiyu. Its 4 sharp claws and mouth with hooked teeth were constantly attacking Seikongchiyu. Yao beasts of the same level were stronger than humans. It was normal for a rank 4 Purple Gold Beast King to suppress Seikongchiyu, who had yet to reach rank 5. If Seikongchiyu had reached rank 5, she wouldn't have to land on the ground and fly again. She would be able to suppress the Purple Gold Beast King in the air. You can't compare to it in terms of energy. When it comes to fighting on the ground, you have to rely on flexibility. After watching the battle for a while, and seeing Seikongchiyu being suppressed and sent flying, Night Sorrow discovered the crux of the matter. After listening to Night Sorrow's words, Seikongchiyu landed on the ground and started fighting the Purple Gold Beast King on the ground. Stay away from it. It will spit out impurities. During the battle, Seikongchiyu did not forget to remind Night Sorrow. She knew that it would be useless to ask Night Sorrow to leave. If Night Sorrow was that kind of person, he would have run away the moment the battle started. What's its weakness? Night Sorrow shouted as she stood on top of a large boulder, the place where the back of its neck connects to its head. Seikongchiyu shouted as she defended against the Purple Gold Beast King's attacks. This won't do. It's too strong. Come to where I am and circle around the boulder. Look for an opportunity. Night Sorrow said as she leaped to the top of the boulder and crouched down. After listening to Night Sorrow's suggestion, Seikongchiyu led the Purple Gold Beast King to the side of the boulder. She circled the boulder and fought the Purple Gold Beast King. Why aren't you leaving? What are you doing up there? Seikongchiyu was surprised to see Night Sorrow crouching on top of the boulder. A rank 1 cultivator was not running away at a time like this. Calling him courageous would be a compliment. Calling him stupid would be more accurate. Chapter 74. Seikongchiyu, who was fighting, shouted at Night Sorrow as she retreated around the boulder. Night Sorrow, don't do anything rash. This guy is completely different from what the quest described. He's at the peak of Tier 4. I can't kill him. Even leaving is a problem. This guy's speed is too fast. Night Sorrow did not say anything. He knew that Seikongchiyu was telling the truth. The Purple Gold Beast King would not give Seikongchiyu the chance to release her Fire Phoenix and fly away safely. What are you waiting for? Seikongchiyu roared again. At the same time, she hurriedly dodged. The Purple Gold Beast King, who had not caught up to her after a few rounds, was enraged. It opened its mouth and spat out a dark purple light. Swish! The dark purple light landed on the boulder, creating a black hole in the boulder. Small, honeycomb-like craters appeared all around it. The craters were still deepening. This was the effect of the Purple Gold Beast King's poison. However, after spitting out the poison, the Purple Gold Beast King's speed had decreased. The purple light on its body had also dimmed. It took a while for it to recover. Seikong, while paying attention to your own safety, try to make it go crazy. I noticed that after it spat out the poison, its attack power has decreased. Night Sorrow squatted on the boulder and shouted at Seikongchiyu. Normally he could only see 2 shadows. Just now, after the Purple Gold Beast King spat out the poison, he could clearly see the Purple Gold Beast King's body. Okay, don't do anything rash. Seikongchiyu's voice was somewhat incoherent. Continuous high-intensity movements and high-intensity battles had consumed a lot of her energy. After an hour, the light on the Purple Gold Beast King's body had dimmed. Its speed had also decreased. It had already spat out 7 or 8 mouthfuls of the Purple Gold Beast King's impurities. Its condition was also somewhat dispirited. Seikongchiyu's situation was not much better. The hand holding the longsword trembled. Her robes were soaked in sweat. Hurry up and leave. I can't hold on any longer. Seikongchiyu shouted at the Night Sorrow on the rock. At this time, the Purple Gold Beast King once again spat out the purple gold poison at Seikongchiyu. After the Purple Gold Beast King spat out the poison, Night Sorrow made his move. He leaped down from the big rock and rode on the Purple Gold Beast King's body. The Purple Gold Beast King's body was even more dispirited now, and its speed had decreased to a minimum. He exerted strength in his legs and clamped the Purple Gold Beast King's body tightly. He held the reincarnation spear in his hands and stabbed it into the purple gold beast king's neck and head. Night Sorrow was very shocked when the reincarnation spear pierced half a foot into the purple gold beast king's body. One had to know that his arms now had the strength of a few thousand kilograms. Coupled with the fact that the reincarnation spear was incomparably sharp, it had only pierced half a foot into the purple gold beast king's body. How strong was its defense? This was his only chance. Night Sorrow knew that if he didn't seize this opportunity, then both he and Sikong Chuyu would die here. At this time, Sikong Chuyu was completely exhausted and fell to the ground. With a low roar, Night Sorrow's arms trembled as he exerted all the strength in his body. Following that, the true chi in his dantian exploded, and the vibration force was poured into the reincarnation spear. Hiss! The reincarnation spear, which had been infused with all the strength of the 7th level of the blood-refining realm by Night Sorrow and the vibration force, pierced through the purple gold beast king's neck and head. Again, Night Sorrow exerted strength in his waist, and pressed the purple gold beast king's body against the ground. He exerted strength in his arms and stabbed downward again. He wanted to nail the purple gold beast king here because if the purple gold beast king attacked again, then Sikong Chuyu would be in danger. Under Night Sorrow's pressure, the purple gold beast king's 2 front legs couldn't support it, and it knelt on the ground. This allowed Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear to pierce through its neck and into the hard purple gold or ground. The purple gold beast king exerted strength in its 2 hind legs and moved forward. Night Sorrow exerted strength in his arms and stabbed the reincarnation spear into the ground, not allowing the purple gold beast king to move. Night Sorrow's strength was great, but the purple gold beast king's strength was even greater. It carried Night Sorrow and dragged the reincarnation spear along the deep trench in the ground as it continued to crawl towards Sikong Chuyu. Get up, let's go. Night Sorrow exerted strength as he shouted at Sikong Chuyu, who was still sitting on the ground. Sikong Chuyu stood up and gritted his teeth. His body flashed, and he stabbed his sword toward the purple gold beast king's open mouth. The purple gold beast king twisted its head, and Sikong Chuyu's sword missed its mark. The Sikong Chuyu, who had missed its mark, retreated a few steps. However, it stepped on a protruding rock and fell to the ground. The purple gold beast king, who had turned its head, moved its body and raised its head. Not good. Night Sorrow knew that this was the prelude to the purple gold beast king spewing out purple gold impurities. %3 Look at #Zeng Edition Chapter C. Plus M. Night Sorrow forcefully slapped the reincarnation spear with his left hand. He leaped up and pounced towards Sikong Chuyu. At this moment, Night Sorrow's mind didn't think of anything else. He just felt that he couldn't let Sikong Chuyu get hurt. Pain. A heart-wrenching pain came from his back. After that, Night Sorrow lost consciousness. When he opened his eyes, Night Sorrow realized that he was lying on a rock. Sikong Chuyu was washing a towel beside him. The towel was covered in blood. Night Sorrow realized that he was half naked. Not far from him was the purple gold beast king's corpse. However, the corpse was covered in wounds. You're awake? I helped you kill it. Does your back hurt? Sikong Chuyu came to Night Sorrow's side, squatted down and asked. It hurts. It really hurts. The purple gold impurities that this fellow spewed out were really powerful. Night Sorrow moved his body and felt that his back was really hurting. Oh, this is because it spewed out a lot of purple gold impurities. Plus, its life was in danger, so it only spewed out a little bit of purple gold impurities. Otherwise, you would be dead. Why are you so silly? Sikong Chuyu took the towel and cleaned Night Sorrow's back. It's fine as long as I'm not dead. Night Sorrow took out a set of clothes and sat up to put them on. Don't put them on. Not dead. If I didn't bring the antidote, you would be dead. Don't put on your clothes first. Wait for your wounds to scab before putting them on. Otherwise, they will scab, Sikong Chuyu said. I can't be naked all the time, right? Night Sorrow said gloomily. Don't worry. It will scab after half a day, Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. Night Sorrow nodded and didn't say anything else. He didn't mind spending half a day to harvest the purple gold. Thank you for this time. You can't be so silly in the future, Sikong Chuyu said to Night Sorrow. I know. You're not hurt, are you? Night Sorrow asked Sikong Chuyu. My arm is a little injured, but you blocked most of it. Otherwise, even if I didn't die, I would be disfigured. Sikong Chuyu's face was a little red. At the most critical moment, Night Sorrow had hugged her and blocked the purple gold impurities that the purple gold beast king had spewed out with his back. This purple gold beast king is really powerful. Night Sorrow took out a jar of wine, opened it, and took a sip. Chapter 75. Tianji Tower is too much of a scam. Why didn't they create a rank 5 monster? Night Sorrow said angrily when he saw the bandage wrapped around Sikong Chuyu's arm. If the purple gold beast king's cultivation was 1 or 2 levels lower than what the intelligence said, it might have been a temporary change. But this time, it was 5 levels lower. The intelligence must have been wrong. Sikong Chuyu was also very annoyed. Fortunately, the mission is completed. Night Sorrow twisted his body. The ointment on his body made him very uncomfortable. Night Sorrow grimaced in pain when he twisted his body. I told you not to move. The most precious thing on the purple gold beast king's body is its purple gold beast core. It is also my mission item. I'm giving up on this mission. Sikong Chuyu placed a fist-sized core crystal that was glowing purple in front of Night Sorrow. What are you doing? Aren't we friends? Night Sorrow felt a little uncomfortable when he saw Sikong Chuyu take out the purple gold beast king's core crystal. That's not what I meant. The main thing is that this purple gold beast core is too precious. You exchanged your life for it, Sikong Chuyu said. If we're friends, then just take it. Give me the wine. Night Sorrow pointed at the wine jar in Sikong Chuyu's hand. Sikong Chuyu smiled. This jar of wine is mine. At the same time, he put away the beast core. Sikong Chuyu originally estimated that Night Sorrow's wound would scab over in half a day, and that he would be able to move in 2 days. But in reality, Night Sorrow's recovery ability shocked her. In 2 hours, the wound on his back had already scabbed over. After a night's rest, Night Sorrow could move again. When Night Sorrow could move again, the two of them entered the underground cave and began to harvest the purple gold. The purple gold beast king's cave was very deep. The two of them went 5 to 6 li underground before they reached the end of the cave. At this time, there was no light at all. They were relying on the luminous pearl in Sikong Chuyu's hand for illumination. At the bottom of the cave, the two of them saw purple gold ores shining with purple light. Where the purple gold beast king stayed, the purity of the purple gold ores was very high. Night Sorrow and Sikong Chuyu started to collect the precious materials. Of course, the more the better. C/G1 cm P7 version. The other Ps are pirated. When they arrived, Night Sorrow had brought along mining tools, while Sikong Chuyu had taken out a long sword. The two of them began mining at the bottom of the cave. After harvesting for 2 hours, Sikong Chuyu stopped. The empty space in her storage ring was already filled. She found it strange that Night Sorrow's harvesting speed was faster than hers. Where did he put all the purple gold ores? Unable to hold back her curiosity, Sikong Chuyu asked, Night Sorrow, where did you put all the purple gold ores? Storage belt. Night Sorrow said without looking up. Sikong Chuyu really wanted to say bullshit. Was there such a big storage belt? If there was, then no one would use a storage ring. But then she thought that Night Sorrow might have more than one storage belt. After digging for 3 hours, the two of them left the underground cave. Night Sorrow had also dug out purple gold ores. That was a treasure dozens of times more valuable than purple gold ores. Night Sorrow originally wanted to continue digging, but Sikong Chuyu stopped him. She was worried that Night Sorrow's wounds would split open or sweat, which would be detrimental to his recovery. Night Sorrow didn't think there was any problem. He had cultivated all night yesterday, and found that his wounds were healing very quickly, especially when the blood-refining energy circulated to his back. However, he didn't tell Sikong Chuyu about this. After coming to the surface, Sikong Chuyu released Fire Phoenix. Weren't you afraid of the purple gold ores coming out of the purple gold ores? Night Sorrow asked. You really are a blockhead. We don't need to scout this time. Can't we just have Fire Phoenix fly high in the sky? Where is your next mission location? Sikong Chuyu grabbed Night Sorrow's shoulder and landed on Fire Phoenix's back, allowing it to fly. The next mission is to go to Thousand Mountain City and get a black ironwood, Night Sorrow said. With Fire Phoenix's rapid flight, the two of them arrived at Thousand Mountain City's black ironwood forest in a day. What kind of weapon is this? Sikong Chiyu muttered to himself outside the black ironwood forest with a frown. What's wrong? Night Sorrow didn't understand why Sikong Chiyu would say that. Didn't you take a mission for black ironwood grass a while ago? The missions of the Green Tong token and Silver token also have missions to collect materials. This time, you took the Purple Gold Mine mission. I took the mission to hunt for the Purple Gold Beast King's Beast Core. Now it's black ironwood. Someone must want to forge a weapon. Sikong Chiyu said. That has nothing to do with us. Night Sorrow didn't think too much about it. That's enough. The only danger here is the Redline Snake and Fire Phoenix. These Yao beasts won't come out. Go chop down a black ironwood tree. We'll go to Thousand Mountain City to rest. Tomorrow, we'll go to your next mission location, Sikong Chiyu said. I'll take care of the next mission myself. Thank you very much, Night Sorrow said as he chopped down the black ironwood tree. Black ironwood tree was extremely hard. After refinement, it could be fused with ores, increasing the hardness of the ores. Thus, Night Sorrow wasn't having an easy time chopping it down. What do you mean by you'll do it yourself? You're injured and will delay the progress of the mission. I'm afraid you won't be able to complete it, Sikong Chiyu said as he glanced at Night Sorrow. After chopping for the time it took to brew a cup of tea, Night Sorrow finally chopped down a black ironwood tree. After dealing with it according to the length of the mission, Night Sorrow nodded to Sikong Chiyu. After leaving the black ironwood forest, Night Sorrow and Sikong Chiyu rode the Fire Phoenix to Qianshan City and found an inn. After asking the attendant to prepare food, Sikong Chiyu nodded to Night Sorrow and said, Let's go, I'll change your medicine. No need. I feel almost better, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Let's go, Sikong Chiyu said as he came to Night Sorrow's side. Night Sorrow nodded and entered the room, then took off his shirt. Hey, the muscle cleansing ointment's effect is so strong? You're almost healed, the scabs are falling off, Sikong Chiyu said as he looked at Night Sorrow's back. I told you there's no need. Yi Shang slowly put on his clothes. Sikong Chiyu didn't stop Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow had indeed recovered and didn't need to apply medicine. Bang! Bang! There was a knock on the door. Night Sorrow got up and opened the door. I'm sorry to disturb the two of you. The food is ready, you can enjoy it at any time. The attendant directly closed the door. What's there to be embarrassed about? Night Sorrow said as he put on his clothes and tidied himself up. That bastard. Sikong Chiyu blushed. Of course, she understood what the attendant meant. The attendant saw Night Sorrow's messy clothes and thought that there was something going on in the room. Don't scold him, he's just asking us to eat, Night Sorrow said with a smile. It's embarrassing to be killed by you. Sikong Chiyu glared at Night Sorrow and left. During the meal, Sikong Chiyu was still a bit unnatural. Sikong, what kind of weapon do you think needs so many materials? Night Sorrow asked. Chapter 76. It's hard to tell what kind of weapon it is, but black iron wood and black iron grass are highly toxic. Add in the corrosive properties of the purple gold beast core, and you can imagine what kind of weapon it is, Sikong Chiyu said. I understand. It's not a good thing to have someone like that in Danding City, Night Sorrow said as he ate. Yes, we won't care about this anymore. If he comes out to harm people, someone will give us a mission. We will accept the mission and kill him, Sikong Chiyu said with a smile. I understand. Thanks to your help, the mission went smoothly. Night Sorrow raised his wine to Sikong Chiyu. Don't say that. I should be the one thanking you. If that purple gold beast king had sprayed the purple gold impurities on my face or body, I wouldn't have been able to live. I owe you my life, Sikong Chiyu said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow didn't say anything. He drank the wine in one gulp. After eating, the two went back to their rooms to rest. Night Sorrow's body was injured, so he couldn't practice battle skills. He could only practice his chi and the myriad Tao Tome. While Night Sorrow was practicing, Sikong Chiyu couldn't calm down. She felt that something was wrong. The mission she accepted was like a trap. If Night Sorrow wasn't with her, she would be in trouble. It would be difficult to escape unscathed. She planned to go back and investigate who had given her the mission. If she endured being tricked, she wouldn't be Sikong Chiyu. After a night of practicing, Night Sorrow noticed that the scabs on his body had fallen off. After taking a shower, Night Sorrow went to the yard to practice his spear skills. Sikong Chiyu, who had changed into a light blue dress, saw Night Sorrow. She originally wanted to scold Night Sorrow, but when she noticed that Night Sorrow's body was moving freely, she didn't say anything. She knew that Night Sorrow had recovered. Let's go do the mission after we finish eating. I wonder if there will be any scars on your back, said Sikong Chiyu, who was sitting at the dining table. I'm a man. What's wrong with having some scars on my body? Night Sorrow put away his gun and sat across from Sikong Chiyu. Sikong Chiyu smiled at Night Sorrow and said, when you get married in the future, tell your woman that the scar on your back was left by another woman. Night Sorrow was startled. He hadn't thought about this problem, but he thought about it. If he married in the future, and his wife had scars on her body because of another man, he would definitely mind. Is it because you can't accept that your wife has scars on her body because of another man? Seeing Night Sorrow's expression change, Sikong Chiyu guessed Night Sorrow's thoughts. It was left by a friend. This should be an exception. Night Sorrow finished his words and started to eat. He didn't want to talk about this topic anymore. Sikong Chiyu didn't ask anything else. She knew that Night Sorrow must be thinking about something. They didn't talk until they left Qianshan City. Sikong, which sect are you from? Don't tell me you're from the Golden Flame sect? Night Sorrow, who was sitting on the Fire Phoenix and keeping a distance from Sikong, asked. No. Actually, I'm not from the Eastern Profound Domain. I came here to hide from some people and things. Sikong Chiyu looked at Night Sorrow and said. Sikong Chiyu then told Night Sorrow about his situation. Only then did he know that Sikong came from a big family. Because she wasn't satisfied with her family's arrangement. She didn't want to run away. This matter must be resisted. My cultivation is low. If I can, I will knock out the teeth of those who have designs on you. Night Sorrow waved his arm and said. You said it. I will remember your words. Sikong Chiyu looked at Night Sorrow and said with a smile. When I can, I will definitely help you. Night Sorrow nodded seriously. Okay, I can still hide. They won't succeed. Sikong Chiyu said with a smile. Sikong, you're so beautiful when you smile. Night Sorrow looked at Sikong Chiyu and said with a smile. You've also learned bad things. Sikong Chiyu rolled his eyes at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow smiled and didn't say anything. From the bottom of his heart, he felt that Sikong Chiyu looked good when he smiled. Sikong Chiyu followed Night Sorrow to finish all of his missions. In the middle, she accompanied Night Sorrow and didn't help him. She knew that Night Sorrow had a strong self-esteem. He wouldn't want others to help him if he could do it himself. Even if it was something he couldn't do. After returning to Danding City, Night Sorrow and Sikong Chiyu went to Tianji Tower together. With Sikong's help, Night Sorrow quickly finished his mission and exchanged the Iron Order for the Qingtong Order. Sikong, I'm going back. Remember, there are some things you can't compromise on. Night Sorrow said to Sikong Chiyu. Alright, come over when you have time. After sending Yi Shang to the entrance of the Celestial Terminus Tower, Sikong Chiyu waved at him. Night Sorrow nodded at Sikong Chiyu and entered the beast carriage. He told the carriage to go directly to his courtyard. After returning to the courtyard, Night Sorrow saw Aoi and her maid, Chioshu, in the main hall. You brat, why didn't you come back for a few days? Don't you know it's very worrying? Why didn't you call your 11th senior brother when you went out? Aoi reprimanded Night Sorrow when she saw him. I was doing a mission with someone else this time. Night Sorrow said with a smile. He knew that Aoi was angry because she cared about him. How come I don't know who you know and who you're doing a mission with? Nonsense. Emo-chan also appeared. I went with Sikong from Tianji Tower to finish all the missions. Night Sorrow said with embarrassment. When he left, he didn't tell Emo-chan. People from Tianji Tower. 13. You have a lot of connections. Aoi didn't get angry anymore. She put her hand on Night Sorrow's shoulder and said. 6th senior sister, that Sikong is an absolute beauty. You haven't seen her. She's breathtakingly beautiful, Emochan said with a smile. 13. The more beautiful a woman is, the more dangerous she is. You have to be careful, Aoi reminded Night Sorrow after hearing Emochan's words. 6th senior sister, aren't you a beauty too? But senior sister, you're very good to me, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Haha 13, you really know how to talk. Who knows how many people in Medicine Valley are thinking about senior sister? Emochan said with a smile after hearing Night Sorrow's words. You still have the cheek to laugh? 13 is back safely. If anything happens, you'll be in trouble. Aoi glared at Emochan. Then they talked about the mission. Night Sorrow gave a simple explanation. You're saying that the woman called Sikong killed the Purple Gold Beast King? A peak rank 4 Purple Gold Beast King? Aoi asked with surprise. Chapter 77. 13. You reached bronze rank in Tianji Tower. That's insane. Aoi looked at the bronze token in Night Sorrow's hand in astonishment. Yes, after turning in all the missions today, I reached bronze rank. This way, I can save some points by exchanging for medicinal pills, Night Sorrow said with a smile as he put away the bronze token. Exchanging for medicinal pills? What kind of medicinal pills do you want? Aoi poured a cup of tea for Night Sorrow and asked. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. I want to exchange for soul-strengthening pills. Sikong said that using 3 soul-strengthening pills in Yuan Gathering Realm is a bit too much. Using 2 is about the same, so I want to exchange for 2, Night Sorrow said. You have a lot of points, don't you? Or do you think that Taishan Peak doesn't have any medicinal pills? Do you still need to exchange for soul-strengthening pills? You'll have them when you reach Yuan Gathering Realm. Aoi stared at Night Sorrow. Emochan then smiled and told Night Sorrow that when they were in Yuan Gathering Realm, Taishan Peak gave them 3 soul-strengthening pills. However, because of Yu Yangyu's restrictions, everyone could only take 1 or 2 pills. 13. During this period of time, you've been going back and forth on missions, so your foundation is very stable. In the following time, you should work hard on your cultivation. Wait until your cultivation reaches the element gathering tier, before you go on missions. Before you advance, don't touch any bronze missions, Qingji said to Yishang. She was very worried that Yishang would recklessly take on a bronze mission. Okay 6th senior sister, I understand, Night Sorrow said with a nod. 13. Do you plan to return to Taishan Peak or stay here to cultivate? Emochan asked. I think it's the same anywhere, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. How about this? 11. Go back and tell Master about the situation here. I'll stay here to guard your 9th senior sister and guide 13's cultivation. Also, when you come again, bring back all the resources that belong to 13. Aoi said to Emochan. Ever since 13 came, 11 has lost his position and became an errand boy, Emochan said with a sigh. You talk too much, you talk too much. Qingji grabbed the towel on the table and threw it at Emochan. Emochan laughed and ran away. After chatting with Aoi for a while, Night Sorrow went back to the 2nd floor. He couldn't handle Aoi's questions were all about Sikong. In a private room on the top floor of the Celestial Extreme Tower, Sikong stood in front of the window while Enforcer Dong stood not far behind her. Enforcer Dong, how many people know that I'm here? Sikong turned around and asked Enforcer Dong. No one knows. My lord, you said that the Purple Gold Beast King's mission was a trap. Could it be targeted at my lord? Is it a coincidence? Enforcer Dong said with uncertainty. Some time ago, the Eastern Xian region headquarters sent people here. They said they sent people to all the Tier 1 cities, right? Keep an eye on the person sent over. Also, find someone absolutely reliable to go to the Golden Purple City to see what's going on in the Extreme Heaven Tower. That mission was reported from there, so it shouldn't be wrong. After pondering for a while, Sikong Chiyu made some arrangements. My lord, you're saying that someone noticed you coming to Danding City? Enforcer Dong said with surprise. Yes, those uncles at home are still up to no good. They probably found out that I came to the Eastern Xian region. I'll have to hide for a while, Sikong Chiyu said. Then where are you going? That won't do. If you don't have anyone by your side and something happens, how am I going to explain it to Madam? Enforcer Dong panicked when he heard Sikong Chiyu's words. I won't go too far. I'll stay in Danding City. It'll be best if no one notices me coming to Danding City. Even if they do, they won't think I'm still in Danding City after I disappear. Danding City will be the best place for me to hide, Sikong Chiyu said. I understand. I'll arrange a place for you to stay immediately. Enforcer Dong bowed and was about to leave. No need. I have somewhere to go. If something happens, I'll go to Enforcer Dong's house. Also, prepare 2 yuan boosting pills for me, Sikong Chiyu said to Enforcer Dong. My lord, what do you need those low-grade pills for? Enforcer Dong didn't understand. For this Purple Gold Beast King mission, if it wasn't for Night Sorrow, I wouldn't have been able to come back. He might need the yuan boosting pills. Sikong Chiyu didn't hide anything from Enforcer Dong. After receiving the yuan boosting pills, Sikong Chiyu left Tianji Tower and found a beast carriage. He circled around Danding City a few times before arriving at Night Sorrow's house on Longquan Mountain. After arriving at the house, Sikong Chiyu immediately informed the house's housekeeper, Xiao Lu, that he wanted to see Night Sorrow. After hearing Xiao Lu's message, Night Sorrow came to the house. He was very curious. Who would want to see him? When he saw Sikong Chiyu in a white robe and a purple veil outside the door, Night Sorrow was stunned. He quickly walked a few steps forward and opened the door. Sikong, why are you here? Can I take refuge? Sikong Chiyu smiled as he entered the house with the veil. Stop joking. Who can threaten you? Night Sorrow smiled as he brought Sikong Chiyu in. I'm not joking. I've run into some trouble. Can I stay with you for a while? Sikong Chiyu looked at Night Sorrow seriously. Of course. It doesn't matter how long. Night Sorrow could tell that Sikong Chiyu was serious. That's good. Sikong Chiyu smiled and nodded. 6th Senior Sister, this is my good friend Sikong Chiyu. Night Sorrow introduced Sikong Chiyu to Aoi as they entered the hall. Hello, I'm Sikong Chiyu. Sikong Chiyu nodded at Aoi. I'm Aoi, Night Sorrow's 6th Senior Sister. Aoi stood up and said. At the same time, she sized up Sikong Chiyu. She was shocked because Sikong Chiyu was much younger than her, but his cultivation was higher than hers. 6th Senior Sister, please take a seat. I'll arrange a place for Sikong to stay. Night Sorrow said to Aoi. Then he led Sikong Chiyu outside. What? Wait. She's moving in? Aoi's expression changed. It was normal for someone to visit, but it was a bit ridiculous for someone to move in. Sikong is in some trouble, so he's moving in. Night Sorrow nodded. 13. Do you know what cultivation level he is? He's at the spirit severing stage. Will he be in trouble? Aoi looked at Sikong Chiyu. Chapter 78. Sikong, wait a moment. 6th Senior Sister, there must be a misunderstanding. Sikong and I have known each other for a long time. She has helped me a lot during our missions. Night Sorrow stood in front of Sikong and said to Aoi. 13. I should also trust the people you trust. Even if they have ulterior motives, I should trust them with you. But your 9th Senior Sister is in seclusion. Aoi was in a difficult position. After hearing Sikong Chiyu's words and seeing Sikong Chiyu's clear eyes, she knew that Sikong Chiyu didn't have any bad intentions. But she couldn't afford to gamble. Night Sorrow, your 6th Senior Sister's words are reasonable. It's fine, move aside. Sikong Chiyu said with a smile. 6th Senior Sister, no matter who it is, if they want to hurt my 9th Senior Sister, they will have to step over my dead body. But I really can't let my friends be disappointed. Sikong, I will accompany you to find a suitable place in the city. Night Sorrow stepped aside and walked outside. He knew that Aoi did the right thing. After all, she didn't know Sikong Chiyu. All right, go arrange a place for her. Don't go to the lake. Aoi sat down. She knew that Night Sorrow and Sikong Chiyu had a good relationship. If Sikong Chiyu left the courtyard, then Night Sorrow would never be able to untie the knot in his heart. I will go later. I will accompany 6th senior sister to have a cup of tea. Sikong Chiyu entered the hall and sat down. I am very sorry. If it was any other time, I would welcome 13's friends with a banquet. But my junior sister is in seclusion, so I cannot drink. Aoi said. I understand. It is your junior brother and sister's fortune to have a senior sister like you. Sikong Chiyu said as he took a sip of tea. My junior brothers and sisters don't come from good backgrounds. They are all orphans and I am their elder sister. 13. Go and arrange a place for Miss Sikong to stay. Aoi waved at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow took a look and left with little 6 when he felt that there was no problem. Sikong 13 is Night Sorrow. He's still young and doesn't know anything about beauty. His friendship with you is genuine. He doesn't have any friends, so I hope you won't hurt him in the future. Aoi sighed. She knew that Sikong Chiyu was destined to be a hurdle in Night Sorrow's life. Sikong Chiyu was too beautiful. Aoi had seen countless people, but she had never seen a woman with a better figure, appearance, and temperament than Sikong Chiyu. It might not be a big deal now, but when Sikong Chiyu's life changed in the future, Night Sorrow would be a hurdle. I know. Genuine friendship is hard to come by. He saved my life the day before yesterday and his back is still full of scars. So I won't hurt him. I just don't understand. Do I look like a bad person when I call you 6th senior sister? Sikong Chiyu was really in a dilemma. Aoi seemed to think that she would definitely hurt Night Sorrow. That's not what I meant. You'll understand slowly. If I offended you in any way, I'm sorry. Aoi cupped her hands and said. Sikong Chiyu shook her head. She really didn't mind. She knew very well that Aoi had been protecting her junior brother and sister ever since they met. The three of them had dinner together. Night Sorrow finished his food quickly and nodded at Aoi and Sikong Chiyu. 6th senior sister, Sikong, I'm going to cultivate. Looking at Night Sorrow's back, Aoi shook her head helplessly. How heartless. You're right to be worried about him. He's as simple as a blank piece of paper, Sikong Chiyu said. Aoi didn't go to rest. She had to pay attention to the safety of the courtyard because Yang Lei was about to break through to the 5th rank. This period of time was too crucial. Sikong Chiyu didn't go to rest either. Instead, she played chess with Aoi in the hall to pass the time. The two of them only ended the game when the sun rose. Thank you for spending the night with me, Aoi said after putting away the game. Sikong Chiyu shook her head. She really admired Aoi's care for her junior brother and sister. It could be said that she cared for her junior brother and sister very much. You guys are so early? Night Sorrow came down with a towel. Early my ass. I'm going to sleep. If anyone comes, wake me up immediately. Remember, no matter who it is, Sikong, you should go rest too. Aoi stretched her back and left the hall to rest. My senior sister didn't sleep the whole night? Night Sorrow asked in surprise. Yes. Although she could sense the movements in the courtyard while meditating, she was nervous and felt uneasy. Sikong Chiyu said. Then you stayed with my senior sister for the whole night? Hurry up and rest. Yi Shang could tell, and had also heard Qing Ji's words. Rest? I still don't know where I'm staying. Sikong Chiyu said with a smile. Night Sorrow did arrange a place for her, but didn't bring her there. She didn't know where it was. Night Sorrow smiled awkwardly and hurriedly brought Sikong Chiyu to a pavilion not far from the bamboo building. When they reached the pavilion, Sikong Chiyu turned around. Take care of your body. If you feel any discomfort, tell me. Don't let me know if there's any residual poison. Night Sorrow smiled and waved his hand and left. He still had to practice his spear arts and mountain suppression hand. The next few days were peaceful. Sikong Chiyu and Aoi's relationship was getting better and better. Sikong Chiyu respected Aoi and Aoi knew how to interact with people. Her impression of Sikong Chiyu was getting better and better. One evening, when the three were eating, Emo-chan came. When he saw Sikong Chiyu, he was stunned. 13, you're amazing. You even brought a beauty home. When Emo-chan said this, Sikong Chiyu's face flushed red. Night Sorrow was also a bit stunned. He knew what Emo-chan meant. H nu e $max T0 fast up. What nonsense are you talking about? You can't even handle your own matters, and you're worried about 13? Aoi glared at Emo-chan. 6th senior sister, I still need you to solve my problems. Emochan sighed. You need sixth senior sister to solve your problems? Then tell me, who do you like? I'll help you think of a way. Aoi said to Emochan. 13. What do you think I should do? I saw her today. Emochan looked at Night Sorrow. I'll tell sixth senior sister in a bit. Yishang knew who Emochan was referring to when he said he saw her. It must be Chu Lingzhao's cousin, Chu Lingfei. Okay, it doesn't matter what I do. Emochan nodded and sat down to eat. He knew there were some things he had to face. Night Sorrow went to talk to Aoi to avoid any awkwardness. After eating, Emochan glanced at Yishang and left. He was very conflicted. On one side was his senior sister whom he respected greatly, and on the other side was his lover who had waited for him for more than 10 years. If this matter was not resolved, it would be a torture for him. He hoped that Yishang's face would be big enough for Qingji to give in. Chapter 79. 13. What's going on? If it's about Master, I can help you talk to him. Aoi looked at Night Sorrow and asked. 6th senior sister, I'll tell you in detail. 11th senior brother is worried that you won't be happy. Night Sorrow poured a cup of tea for Aoi. I won't be happy? Why don't you tell me in detail? I'll only be happy about 11th's matter. Why would I be unhappy? Aoi said with some surprise. Night Sorrow then told her about Emochan and Chu Lingfei. That 11 is really a bastard. That's only between me and Chu Lingxiao. It has nothing to do with anyone else. Even if Chu Lingfei is that bastard's cousin, I wouldn't mind. Tell 11 to get his ass over here. Aoi shouted at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow let out a sigh of relief. He knew that Aoi was a reasonable person, but he was also worried that she would lose her mind. Now that there was no problem, he felt much more at ease. He got up and called Emochan over. 6th senior sister. Emochan greeted in a low voice. 11. Is 6th senior sister such an unreasonable person in your eyes? Don't say that this matter is nothing to senior sister, even if it is something. How can 6th senior sister watch you be unhappy? Qingji's eyes were red. Her emotions were very emotional and complicated. She was happy that Emochan was considerate of her, but she also felt guilty and apologetic. 6th senior sister, that's not what I meant. I just don't want you to be unhappy. I'm sorry, 6th senior sister. Emochan's voice was choked with emotion. 11. No matter how much you can do for 12, 6th senior sister will do for you. We are senior sister and junior brother. Qingji stepped forward and hugged Emochan, patting Emochan's back. Thank you, 13. Emochan smiled at Yishang after the knot in his heart was untied. 11th senior brother, now that our problem is solved, what if Chu Lingxiao has something to say? Night Sorrow thought of another possibility. How dare he? If he doesn't agree, we'll beat him until he agrees. I don't believe we can't teach him a lesson. We don't need Master to do this. We can just talk to eldest senior brother later. Aoi snorted. Thank you, senior sister. I want to drink some wine. Did you bring the azure blood brew? Emochan asked with a smile. Bastard, you only know how to trick your senior sister. Aoi slapped Emochan, but she still took out a jar of wine. If I don't cheat senior sister, I'll cheat 13. Will you guys let me? Emochan glanced at Night Sorrow. Why don't you try tricking 13? If Shirzuen doesn't skin you alive, you can drink. Sikong, you drink some too. I won't be drinking. Aoi glanced at the direction where Yang Lei was in seclusion and said. Just as Aoi was speaking, a shocking aura came from the direction of Yang Lei's seclusion. Then Night Sorrow and the others felt the spiritual energy in the courtyard go berserk. She successfully broke through. This is the aura of the 5th rank. Aoi said excitedly. Yes, this is the aura of a 5th rank cultivator. Night Sorrow, your 9th senior sister succeeded. Sikong Chiyu said. 9th senior sister is coming out. Let's drink together. Night Sorrow was very happy for Yang Lei. Among the senior brothers and sisters, Yang Lei was the most protective. Therefore, Night Sorrow felt that Yang Lei was the easiest to get along with. How can it be so fast? I still need a few days to stabilize my cultivation. But I can drink now, Aoi said with a smile. Sixth senior sister. Does that mean that ninth senior sister is now the strongest among the second-generation disciples in the Medicine Valley? Emo-chan was very excited when he heard that Yonglei had successfully broken through. In terms of cultivation, she should be the strongest. But in terms of actual combat, there are still strong people in the second generation of the Medicine Valley. For example, eldest senior brother killed a 5th-rank cultivator a few years ago. That Chu Ling Xiao is not simple either. Just thinking about that bastard makes me angry. Aoi opened the wine jar and said. With Yang Lei's successful breakthrough, the others relaxed. Aoi, Emo-chan, Night Sorrow, and Sikong Chiyu drank together. It should be called tasting wine because the green blood wine was too strong. Only Night Sorrow could drink it in big mouthfuls. These are your cultivation resources, Soul Gathering Pill and Soul Increasing Pill. Master only gave you 2 Soul Increasing Pills. Take them when you are in the 3rd and 7th level of the Soul Gathering Pill. After drinking 2 mouthfuls of wine, Emo-chan took out a small bag and threw it to Night Sorrow. That was the cultivation resource that the sect gave to Night Sorrow. What's in this bottle? Night Sorrow opened the bag and found 2 different bottles. It's Cauldron Spirit Liquid. It's so depressing. Emo-chan pursed his lips and said after introducing it. What's Cauldron Spirit Liquid? Night Sorrow opened the bottle and sniffed it before asking. Sixth senior sister, isn't it shameful to show off? Emo-chan didn't answer Night Sorrow's question. Instead he looked at Aoi. It's indeed shameful to show off. But what I want to say is that 13 doesn't know what this Cauldron Spirit Liquid does. Aoi said with a smile. Then Aoi told Night Sorrow about the origin and effects of the Cauldron Spirit Liquid. The Cauldron Spirit Liquid was a kind of spirit liquid produced by the 8-Dragon Cauldron, which was the most precious spiritual weapon of the Medicine Valley. It was produced at a special place on Danding Cliff. The Cauldron Spirit Liquid was produced by the 8-Dragon Cauldron by condensing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. However, it was extremely rare. Only 10 to 20 drops were produced in a year. In the Medicine Valley, only heaven-grade disciples were qualified to use it. Elders and king-grade disciples weren't qualified to use it. Then why did you give it to me? Night Sorrow asked in surprise. You don't know, right? Right now, your security level in the Medicine Valley is heaven-grade. Your cultivation resources are also the same as heaven-grade disciples, but you don't have the strength and status of a heaven-grade disciple. Aoi said. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow figured it out. It should be the benefits that he handed in the Sacred Cauldron scripture himself. 13 This is good stuff. In our Taishan Peak, only the eldest senior brother and the 9th senior sister have used this stuff. Emo-chan said as he stared at the Cauldron Spirit Liquid. What's the benefit? Night Sorrow asked as he closed the bottle. It can't help the user directly improve their cultivation, but it can condense their true chi and strengthen their body. The most amazing thing is that it won't cause any inner demons. Everyone has a soul. It's invisible and untouchable, but it really exists. It's just like how some people have sensitive senses, and some people have clear eyes. The hidden effect of the Cauldron Spirit Liquid is to strengthen the soul, so you won't suffer from chi deviation in the future, Aoi said. Then there are 2 bottles here. Senior sister and senior brother, take them. Sikong, if I have more in the future, I'll give it to you. Night Sorrow handed the 2 bottles of Cauldron Spirit Liquid to Aoi and Emo-chan. $F plus permanent/free to read e-novel. What are you doing? This is your cultivation resource, not ours. Keep it. Aoi glared at Night Sorrow. Sixth senior sister, my cultivation is going well. I don't really need this. Night Sorrow shook his head. Chapter 80. After looking at Aoi and Emo-chan, Night Sorrow put away the liquid. He understood that Aoi and Emo-chan had their own pride. They wouldn't want something that didn't belong to them. By the way, I have something to tell you. Just like Master, the Nine Peak Master has also accepted a personal disciple. I think the Nine Peak is going to win the rookie competition this time. Emo-chan's expression was somewhat unnatural. What's going on? Does 13 not have a chance? Aoi put down her wine glass. Zizizi. It's the beast baby that Tycoon, the head disciple of the Nining Peak, brought back a few years ago. Back then, the Valley Master saw him and said that he was very talented. He was born with bronze muscles and iron bones. Later, the Valley Master brought him to the medicine hut to eliminate his wild nature. 2 months ago, the Valley Master sent the beast baby back to the Nining Peak. The Nining Peak's master, Su Chenbai, announced that the beast baby's wild nature was not much left, so he took him in as a disciple. Mo Chen told the news he had heard when he returned this time. I've heard of that beast child. When he was brought back, he directly injured a few servants, Aoi said. When I went to collect resources for 13, I met the kid that Tycoon brought along. He also went to collect resources. He said that he had worn away his bestial nature, but his eyes were filled with sinister and treacherous intent. It made people's hair stand on end. At that time, Tycoon showed off to me, saying that the beast doll was also going to participate in the newcomer competition, and wanted our Taishian Peak to be prepared. The beast doll smiled at me and did a neck-breaking gesture. Mo Chen said. Bastard, the Nining Peak is doing this on purpose, Aoi cursed. Su Chenbai doesn't get along well with Master. Of course, he wouldn't let go of an opportunity to attack Taishian Peak. That Showa shouldn't be called Showa anymore. He should be called Su Mu. That's the name Su Chenbai gave him, Mo Chen said. This Su Chenbai is really a piece of sh*t. What's Su Mu's cultivation base? Aoi asked. 5th layer of element gathering tier. He was born with an extraordinary talent, and has the ability to battle above his cultivation level, Mo Chen said. Night Sorrow got up and left. When he reached the stairs, he said, I will work hard to cultivate. Watching Night Sorrow leave, Aoi glared at Mo Chen. She knew that this news was a huge blow to Night Sorrow because Yu Yangyu had said that he would either not participate in the battle of the best newcomers, or he would have to put on a good show. Under such circumstances, how could Night Sorrow allow himself to lose? Mo Chen rubbed his forehead forcefully. That was not his original intention. He was just talking about it. Because of Su Mu's participation, the competition between the rookies had reached a point where nothing could be done. Believe in him. As long as he wants to, then he will be able to do it. 5th level of element gathering tier is much higher than Night Sorrow. As long as you give Night Sorrow enough time, this won't be a problem, Sikong Chiyu said. There is not much time. There is less than half a year left. The annual sect competition is held 3 months before the disciple recruitment event, Aoi said. Mo Chen shook his head. This system was not perfect. Some outer sect disciples had already cultivated for several years, so how could this be considered a competition between the rookies? Even if Su Mu was grinding his wild nature in the medicinal hut, the Valley Master could not possibly not teach him anything. He must have meditated. Returning to his room on the 2nd floor, Night Sorrow took out a blood essence pill and ate it. Then he ate half a spirit congealing pill, and began to cultivate. He did not want to embarrass Taishian Peak, because of himself. In the next few days, Night Sorrow did not come out much. He ate fasting pills and continued to cultivate. On the 4th day, Night Sorrow came out. He did not come out of his own will, but was dragged out by Yang Lei. After coming out of seclusion, Yang Lei learned about Night Sorrow's situation in the past few days. She immediately went to the 2nd floor and pulled Night Sorrow out of his room. 9th senior sister, you came out of seclusion. Congratulations. Night Sorrow, who came out of the room, greeted Yang Lei. Yes, so everyone has to drink to celebrate, Yang Lei said with a smile. Sure-san, if your 9th senior sister doesn't call you, are you going to stay here? Aoi looked at Night Sorrow and said, I plan to break through to the elemental gathering stage as soon as possible, Night Sorrow said. Well, take your time. Aoi nodded and said. Everyone had a good time eating and drinking. Not to mention in the Medicine Valley, even in other top forces, it was a big deal for a member to enter the 5th stage. It was a sign of becoming a powerhouse. After eating, Night Sorrow walked around the courtyard with Sikong Chiyu, then went back to his room to cultivate. 6th senior sister, I plan to go back to Taishian Peak. I have to tell Master when I break through, Yang Lei said. Okay, you go back. You go back with 11th junior brother and take care of his business. Aoi told Yang Lei about Emo-chun and Chu Lingfei. Okay, if Chu Lingxiao dares to cause trouble, I'll fight him in the arena. He was stronger than me in the past, but now I have absolute confidence in defeating him, Yang Lei said. Then you two go back. I'll stay here and cultivate while watching Shirsan. Aoi said to Yang Lei and Emo-chun. 6 Senior sister, I told Shirsan about Su Mu. Did I provoke him? Emo-chun said apologetically. It's okay, he needs an opponent. Su Mu is ruthless, but Shirsan is definitely more ruthless than him. Su Chenbai wants to humiliate our Taishian peak, but it's hard to say who will be humiliated, Aoi said coldly. Sikong, if you have time, let's drink tea together. I'll go back with Shirsan first, Yang Lei said to Sikong Chiyu. After Yang Lei left, Sikong Chiyu said goodbye to Aoi and went back to his room to cultivate. Time passed quickly, and half a month passed in the blink of an eye. Night Sorrow had reached the peak of the 9th stage of chi refining, and had reached the bottleneck. After feeling that he could no longer refine the spiritual chi of heaven and earth, and the energy of alchemical pills, Night Sorrow came out of his room. He planned to calm down a bit before breaking through to the element gathering tier. The refining chi tier and the element gathering tier were 2 different tiers. There was a huge difference in the amount of true chi, and the quality of true chi was also different. Although Yi Chong had defeated opponents in the 5th and 6th layer of element gathering tier, that was because he had relied on battle techniques and the strength of his body, not true chi. There was a huge difference between the 2 tiers of true chi. When Night Sorrow walked out of his room, he did not see Sikong and Aoi. He arranged for the servants to prepare some food, and went to check on Tianyu. Lord Knight, this Tianyu can eat too much. He eats a wild beast a day, Little Six said. Feed him as much as he can eat. Here are the gold notes. Night Sorrow took out some gold notes and gave them to Little Six, then helped Tianyu comb his feathers. Tianyu had grown a lot taller. When he spread his wings, he had a surface area of 9.5 feet. Chapter 81. Shortly after Night Sorrow returned to the 2nd floor, Aoi appeared because it was dinner time. Aoi has high requirements for the quality of life. If it wasn't necessary, she wouldn't eat fasting pills. Master Qing, Master Knight just came out. He played with Tianyu for a while, ate something, and then went back to his room. Little Six reported to Aoi. Aoi nodded. She wasn't worried about Night Sorrow. After a period of continuous missions and actual combat, Night Sorrow's foundation was very stable. She went out and walked towards the attic where Sikong Chiyu was. She planned to ask Sikong Chiyu to eat together. When she arrived at Sikong Chiyu's attic, Aoi stopped. What made Qingji shocked was that she discovered that Sikong Chiyu was also in seclusion to break through. When Sikong Chiyu came to the courtyard, her cultivation was at the 7th rank of the 4th step. Now she was advancing towards the 8th rank of the 4th step. What made Qingji surprised was Sikong Chiyu's trust in her. If she was disturbed during her advancement, she would fail on the verge of success and be seriously injured. Shaking her head and putting aside the thoughts in her heart, Aoi returned to the main building and began to eat. #C/original chapter 8h/acts. After eating, Aoi didn't go to cultivate. Instead, she stayed in the lobby. Since Sikong Chiyu trusted her, she couldn't betray this trust. Not to mention that Aoi and Sikong Chiyu had a good relationship now, just based on the fact that she was Night Sorrow's friend. She had to help him. After returning to his room, Night Sorrow sorted out his emotions, took a spirit congealing pill, and began to close up. There was an essential difference between chi refining and chi gathering. That was the difference in the quality of chi. Now what Night Sorrow had to do was to compress the saturated chi to produce a qualitative change from a mist state to a liquid state. The liquid state of chi was the sign of entering the chi gathering stage. The liquid state of chi was the sign of the chi condensation stage. Night Sorrow first circulated the true chi in his dantian, calming it down. After a quarter of an hour, Night Sorrow refined the spirit congealing pill, and let the medicinal power rush towards his dantian. At the same time, he compressed the true chi in his dantian fiercely. With the compression of the true chi, Night Sorrow's dantian space became blank, which allowed the energy produced by the spirit congealing pill to come in. Night Sorrow refined the energy of the spirit congealing pill, and then continued to compress it. This was a difficult process, and there could not be any accidents. If there was an accident, the compressed true chi would rebound, and everything would be in vain. There would also be a situation where the dantian and 5 viscera and 6 bowels would be damaged. Night Sorrow continued to refine the medicinal power of the congealing spirit pill into the true chi, filling the blank in the dantian, and then compressing it with the true chi in the dantian. 2 hours, 4 hours. Night Sorrow's forehead was covered with sweat. He could not relax the pressure of compressing his true chi. As time slipped away, at the moment when the 6th hour passed, Night Sorrow's dantian shook. After the true chi was compressed to an extreme, it produced a qualitative change, and a drop of liquid true chi was produced. After the appearance of this drop of liquid true chi, a chain reaction occurred in Night Sorrow's dantian. After the misty true chi touched this drop of liquid true chi, it was assimilated into liquid true chi. In less than a quarter of an hour, the true chi in Night Sorrow's dantian was completely transformed. After continuing to cultivate for an hour, Night Sorrow completely stabilized his cultivation base in the Yuan gathering realm. Then he stood up and left the room. He was going to take a bath. His body was full of sweat, and it was very uncomfortable. When he went downstairs and saw Aoi sitting in the hall drinking tea, Night Sorrow was a little surprised. At this time, the sky was not yet bright. In the middle of the night, "Are you haunted?" Aoi, who was sitting in the hall, saw Night Sorrow and said, "I'm going to take a bath," Night Sorrow said. You silently advanced to the Yuan gathering realm. Go take a bath first. Come back and we'll chat over tea. Aoi waved her hand at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow took a bath and the sky was bright. After changing his clothes, Night Sorrow came to the hall. 6 Senior Sister, did you wake up early or did you not rest? Have a cup of tea first. Sikong is advancing. I was worried that a thief or something would disturb her, so I stood guard for her. I didn't expect you to also be advancing. Why didn't you tell Senior Sister? Aoi poured a cup of tea for Night Sorrow and said, I'm advancing to the Yuan gathering realm. It's nothing. I just don't want 6 Senior Sister to worry, Night Sorrow said after sitting down. Don't be too stressed. That Sumu is not a big deal. He just started cultivating earlier than you. Aoi knew that Night Sorrow was stressed, so she opened her mouth to relieve Night Sorrow's pressure. I know, but Taishian Peak's face cannot be lost, Night Sorrow said. Su Chenbai is a despicable person. He has been at odds with Taishian Peak since a long time ago. Besides, the 4 Seas sect is also a sect under the Ninein Peak. When your 12th senior brother got into trouble, Su Chenbai made excuses so that our Taishian Peak wouldn't take revenge. This time, he accepted that beast child Su Mu as his disciple because he's targeting our Taishian Peak, Aoi said. After that, Night Sorrow also found out that the Ninein Peak often used underhanded tactics in the sect competition. The disciples of the other elders of Taishian Peak had all been tricked. Most importantly, the Valley Master was already old, and his disciples couldn't take up the position of Valley Master. Therefore, the Medicine Valley planned to choose one of the other Peak Masters to take over the position of Valley Master. The most likely candidate was Yu Yangyu, followed by Su Chenbai. Therefore, the 2 peaks often had conflicts. Su Chenbai wanted to humiliate Taishian Peak and make Yu Yangyu lose his prestige. Master said that he doesn't care about the position of Valley Master. Besides, the newcomer competition is nothing. The Ninein Peak can only dream of having you suppress Taishian Peak. Don't think too much about it. I'm telling you this to let you know that if any of the Ninein Peak's disciples provoke you in the future, you'll have to deal with them to death, Aoi said. Night Sorrow nodded. He understood that the Medicine Valley was very complicated. As they chatted, Night Sorrow also learned that the Tianyue Peak's Peak Master, Jin Kan, and the Ninein Peak's Peak Master, Su Chenbai, were fellow disciples. The 2 of them were the disciples of the Medicine Valley's 2nd elder. By the way, Senior Sister, I've heard of a name called Lin Tianjue. Is he very powerful? Before Night Sorrow entered the Medicine Valley, he heard the Enlightenment mention this name. He's the #1 disciple of the 3rd generation, and also the #1 on the elixir list. He's Luo Daoyuan's disciple. How do you know him? Aoi asked. Night Sorrow told her about how Qin Zhan wanted to kill him in Grass Valley Town, but the Enlightenment stopped him. Then Qin Zhan threatened the Enlightenment. That's because our Taishian Peak didn't have any 3rd generation disciples before. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had the chance to show off. Aoi snorted coldly. The two chatted casually. Aoi reminded Night Sorrow that he had to keep the alternate dimension in mind. In less than a year and a half, the alternate dimension in Pill Cauldron Mountain Range would open. At that time, Night Sorrow had to cultivate to the core condensation realm. The alternate dimension was very important because it could easily produce heavenly treasures. Chapter 82. A space that no one has set foot in, after countless years, will produce treasures. However, it will also produce heaven-defying demonic beasts. Risks and benefits coexist. If you enter, you must be careful. After Qing Ji finished speaking, she stood up and looked towards the direction of Sikong Chiyu's pavilion. Night Sorrow was stunned. 6th senior sister, what's wrong? Sikong has successfully advanced. I didn't expect her cultivation to reach such a level at such a young age. Aoi said with some emotion. Senior sister, I know that when a cultivator reaches the 4th stage, their appearance will change very little. Is Sikong still young? Night Sorrow asked. Around 23 or 24. Not too far off. Aoi said. She's a little older than me, but her cultivation is higher than Boss's. Night Sorrow said as he rubbed his hair. Aoi reached out and rubbed Night Sorrow's hair. Take it slow. You guys have different starting points. I'll continue to tell you about the alternate dimensions. Aoi then told Night Sorrow about the alternate dimensions that they had discovered in the past. Night Sorrow also had some understanding of alternate dimensions. What are you guys talking about? While Night Sorrow and Aoi were chatting, Sikong Chiyu, who had taken a shower and changed into a light blue dress, came to the hall. Tell Shur-san about the sect. Congratulations, Qing Ji said with a smile. Night Sorrow has entered the element gathering realm. Not bad. His cultivation speed is excellent. Most importantly, he's not weak. Sikong Chiyu sat down and said, Aren't I like an ant in front of you? You can crush me to death. Night Sorrow laughed self-deprecatingly. I've been cultivating for much longer than you. Cultivation success mainly depends on one's potential and opportunities. I believe in you. Don't you still need to help me beat some people away? Sikong Chiyu said with a smile. Night Sorrow didn't ask any more questions. He just lowered his head and drank his tea. After a while, Little Six came in and called them to have breakfast. After eating breakfast, Night Sorrow began to practice the chasing wind spear art. Along with the bursting of true chi in his dantian, Night Sorrow discovered that his oscillating power had reached 33 waves, and the speed of his oscillating power had also increased by a lot, which made him very happy. Normally, when he entered the element gathering tier, he would only be able to unleash 30 waves of oscillating force. Now, not only did it exceed his estimation, the speed of the oscillating force was also very fast. After practicing the chasing wind spear art for a while, Night Sorrow began to practice the suppressing mountain hand. Along with the circulation of Zhen Qi in his dantian, the diameter of the cyan cyclone in his hand had increased to over a foot. Night Sorrow reached out and patted the rockery on the side of the courtyard. Boom. P version CR starter C. After a loud boom, a piece of bluestone on the rockery was sent flying. After the first palm strike, Night Sorrow circulated the Zhen Qi in his dantian and shot out another palm strike. The result was the same as the first one. Feeling the Zhen Qi in his dantian, Night Sorrow bitterly smiled. After shooting out 2 palms, Night Sorrow's dantian was completely empty. There was only a small amount of Zhen Qi left. If he continued to fight, it wouldn't be long before his Zhen Qi was completely exhausted. After calculating for a while, Night Sorrow understood that the suppressing mountain hand that he had used wouldn't affect the rest of the fight. After shooting out 2 palms, he would have to end the fight as soon as possible, or rely on the energy in his body to continue fighting. 13. The power of your suppressing mountain hand is not bad. I remember that your ninth senior sister could only shoot out one palm strike when she was in the early core condensation stage. She could only shoot out two palms when she was in the peak core condensation stage. Aoi came to Night Sorrow's side and said, maybe my body's strength is a bit higher, but after shooting out two palms, my Jinchi is pretty much exhausted. Night Sorrow said, you should be content. In our Taishian peak, only your ninth senior sister has cultivated the heaven-covering hand, and the effect isn't as good as yours. Relying on the heaven-covering hand, your ninth senior sister became a heaven-level disciple. Now that she has entered the 5th stage, she will always be treated as a heaven-level disciple in the sect. Aoi said with a smile. Night Sorrow knew that in the Taishian peak, among Yu Yangyu's disciples, only first disciple Gongxian and Yang Lei were heaven-level disciples. Huanan was sometimes a heaven-level disciple, and sometimes not. It wasn't very stable. After all, the competition between the disciples of the 12 peaks was very fierce. After practicing for a while, Night Sorrow returned to the 2nd floor to cultivate his Zhenqi and the myriad Dao Tome. 13. You don't need to worry about others. You don't need to push yourself. You know how to work hard. Seeing Sikong Chiyu walking over, Aoi said, if you work hard, even if you don't have talent, you can still become a good cultivator. If you have talent but don't work hard, you won't have great achievements. Only with talent and hard work can you become a powerhouse. Sikong Chiyu nodded and said, you're right. Aoi nodded at Sikong Chiyu. Sister Aoi, I haven't thanked you for guarding me. If it wasn't for little Six, I wouldn't have known. Thank you. Sikong Chiyu bowed slightly to Aoi. You're welcome. Oh yeah, I'm planning to go to the city to buy some things. Since it's not convenient for you to go out, I'll bring back whatever you need. Aoi said to Sikong Chiyu. I really need it. Help me buy some cotton cloth. Sikong Chiyu's face turned a little red when he said this. Okay, got it. Anything else? As a woman, Aoi knew why Sikong Chiyu was blushing. I don't need anything else. Sikong Chiyu shook his head. In the following days, Night Sorrow continuously cultivated the Windchaser spear art during the day, cultivating the swift and violent spear art concept. At night, he cultivated the Sage Cauldron scripture and the Myriad Daos tome. In the beginning, Aoi and Sikong Chiyu still controlled their cultivation, and sparred with Night Sorrow to help Night Sorrow cultivate his spear art. Later on, neither of them accompanied Night Sorrow to cultivate. Night Sorrow's spear art had a lot of strength. Strength had nothing to do with the thickness of one's true chi. Thick true chi could offset strength, but it couldn't offset everything. As long as their weapons collided, Aoi and Sikong Chiyu would definitely be at a disadvantage, and would be pushed back. Strength aside, Night Sorrow's vibration force made the two of them feel helpless. If they used their weapons to block Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear, they would definitely be pushed back. If they controlled their cultivation to the same level as Night Sorrow, they wouldn't be able to fight. Even if they used their cultivation at the 5th level of element gathering tier, they wouldn't be able to fight. If they didn't control their cultivation, there would be no point in sparring. Beast Doll. I'll show you Beast Doll. You'll know how powerful R13 is later. After sparring with Night Sorrow, Aoi was now very confident in Night Sorrow. Beast Doll's strongest point was his strong body. However, after seeing Night Sorrow's strength, Aoi didn't think much of Beast Doll's strength. Beast Doll? Who's Beast Doll? Sikong Chiyu, who was sitting together with Aoi and watching Night Sorrow cultivate, asked. Aoi didn't hide anything from Sikong Chiyu, and told him about the Taishian Peak and Nainin Peak. Isn't this obviously shameless? Hearing Aoi's words, Sikong Chiyu was also very angry. Putting aside the fact that outer sect disciples cultivated for a very long time, the Su Chimbai using beast dolls to fight against Night Sorrow was really a bit ungentlemanly. Night Sorrow's current weakness is his low cultivation. That beast doll is at the 5th level of element gathering tier. If Su Chimbai takes it as his disciple, he'll definitely spare no effort to nurture it. I wonder what the situation will be like in half a year's time. Although Aoi had confidence in Night Sorrow, she was still worried. Chapter 83. Master and Su Qinbai aren't the same kind of people. Master doesn't want us brothers to get hurt, but that Su Qinbai is unscrupulous. He might increase Beast Child's cultivation without caring about the consequences. You know, if he doesn't care about the consequences and isn't stingy with his resources, then Beast Child might even reach the peak of element gathering tier. Aoi was still worried. That's true. Peak Master Lu only allowed Night Sorrow to use the Origin Strengthening Pill when he's in the 3rd and 7th level of element gathering tier. In other words, before Night Sorrow enters the newcomer competition, he can only eat 1 Origin Strengthening Pill. If Beast Child eats 3 pills without caring about the consequences, then his cultivation will definitely reach the 8th or 9th level of element gathering tier. Sikong Chuyu also understood the difference. Night Sorrow, come and eat some fruits. Rest for a while before you go cultivate. Aoi called out to Night Sorrow, who was wiping his sweat. See Genuine Edition H Chapter. Section 1. 8 Night Sorrow was cultivating in the garden in the middle of the courtyard. Aoi and Sikong Chuyu were sitting at a stone table under an old tree eating fruits and drinking tea. Night Sorrow walked over with his spear. The attack power is still not enough. Take it slow. Aoi threw a towel to Night Sorrow. Then have you thought about using the vibration force separately? One part is on the body of the spear, as long as it can shake off the opponent's weapon, and the other part is on the tip of the spear. That way, the attack power and destructive power will increase greatly. That's right. I'll try. Night Sorrow stuffed the green fruit in his mouth and went to cultivate according to Sikong Chuyu's idea. I should have told him this later. He really doesn't care about anything when he's cultivating, Sikong Chuyu said helplessly. You might not know, but 13 is an orphan. He wants to become a powerful warrior, so he went to find his family. Aoi lowered her voice and told Sikong Chuyu about Night Sorrow's situation. Night Sorrow's aura is very strong. He doesn't seem like a child from an ordinary family. It's very likely that he came from a big family, but something happened to his family, Sikong Chuyu said after some thought. Everyone was different. The descendants of bandits would inevitably have a bandit aura. The disciples of large clans would have a strong aura and a strong aura. This was an innate bloodline inheritance. According to Old Man Gu's description, the 2 people protecting Night Sorrow should be his guards. Now that they're dead, there's no one to report to them, so no one came to look for Night Sorrow, Aoi said. Sikong Chuyu nodded. She didn't expect Night Sorrow to have so many stories. Night Sorrow gradually found the feeling that Sikong Chuyu had described. He left the vibration energy in the body of the spear and controlled the rest to the tip of the spear. As for the energy in his body, it was used to increase the strength of his attacks. After finding the feeling, Night Sorrow cultivated for 4 hours. He studied the vibration energy in the body of the spear and the tip of the spear. Night Sorrow only stopped when the sky turned dark. He smiled at Night Sorrow and Sikong Chuyu and went to take a shower. This guy. I don't know how to describe him. To put it nicely, he's stubborn. To put it bluntly, he's crazy. Of course, he's not that crazy yet, Sikong Chuyu said as she finished the tea in her hand and stood up. After cultivating for another 2 days, Night Sorrow decided to go on a mission to consolidate his cultivation and train his spear skills. Sikong Chuyu didn't agree, because Night Sorrow's cultivation was too low. He would be under a lot of pressure from the bronze mission. She couldn't go out with Night Sorrow now. However, Aoi agreed after thinking for a while. She felt that cultivators who cultivated in a greenhouse would have a high cultivation level, but low combat power. Only by growing in battle could their combat power and cultivation level reach a balance. It could even be said that their combat power would exceed the combat power of a cultivator of the same level. Since Aoi agreed, Sikong Chuyu didn't have any objections. After making some preparations, Yishang left the Dragon Spring courtyard and went to the Celestial Terminus Tower. Seeing Night Sorrow, Enforcer Dong was stunned. Ihi, I haven't seen you for a while. Your cultivation level has improved a lot. It's okay. I want to take on a mission. Night Sorrow took out his identity plate. Night Sorrow, you've only been in the Yuan Gathering realm for a short time. It's still difficult for you to take on a bronze mission. You should know that many Yuan Gathering realm cultivators are mixed in with the iron missions. Enforcer Dong said. He knew that Sikong Chuyu and Night Sorrow had a good relationship, so he didn't want Night Sorrow to take risks. Thank you, Lord Enforcer. I'll be more careful. I won't take on a mission like before. I'll take on a mission that I'm confident in, Night Sorrow said. He understood that Enforcer Dong was advising him out of goodwill. That's fine. Find someone that you're confident in. Enforcer Dong took out a bronze mission catalog and handed it to Night Sorrow. When Night Sorrow checked the missions, he heard the sound of people cursing. The Black Iron missions with high points and good rewards had all been swept away. Night Sorrow was a little puzzled. He hadn't taken on a mission for a while, so why was there still a shortage of iron missions? Ignoring the ruckus, Yishan took a look and chose a mission to kill bandits. There were several hundred bandits in this group, and the two commanders were both in the peak stage of element gathering tier. The mission item was the heads of the two bandit leaders. This mission is one of the less dangerous bronze missions, but it's still not suitable for you, Enforcer Dong said. Missions don't only rely on strength, but also intelligence. I won't fight them head-on. I'll do it when I have the chance. There's no time limit for this mission. I'll take it slow, Night Sorrow said with a smile. All right then. Remember, your life is the most important. After saying that, Enforcer Dong looked at the door of Tianji Tower, because a young man in black had entered. He was called a young man in black because his face was a little young, and his body was the body of an adult. Night Sorrow turned to look at the young man in black. The young man in black also looked at Night Sorrow. What kind of eyes were those? Night Sorrow felt that he had only seen such eyes when he faced the purple gold beast king and Wu Jiao. It was cold and filled with killing intent. The young man in black and Night Sorrow looked at each other, then walked inside. He shouted at a waiter and entered a private room. It's him. He's the one who took on many iron missions. He even killed the 3 Iron Leopard brothers outside the city. When they saw the young man in black, many cultivators who were doing missions began to whisper. He's also a disciple of the Medicine Valley. He completed 2/3 of the iron missions this month, Enforcer Dong whispered to Night Sorrow. A disciple of the Medicine Valley? What's his name? Night Sorrow felt that he would definitely cross paths with this young man in black, and it would not be a friendly encounter. Sumu, Enforcer Dong said to Night Sorrow. Sumu. Night Sorrow knew that Sumu was his main opponent in the Medicine Valley's newcomer competition. He was someone sent by the Nine Peak to deal with him. He did not expect the two of them to meet so soon. Thank you, Lord Enforcer. I'm going to do my mission. Night Sorrow nodded to Enforcer Dong and left Tianji Tower. Chapter 84. Enforcer Dong was stunned for a moment. He stared at Night Sorrow's back and felt that something was wrong. When he mentioned Su Mu's name, Night Sorrow's eyes lit up and his body emitted a fighting spirit. Both of them are excellent people, but they don't get along. Enforcer Dong murmured. However, he had a better impression of Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow was very sunny. Even when he was in conflict with Qin Zhan and Ao Lai, he was still very masculine and violent. On the other hand, Su Mu was not. Su Mu gave people the feeling that he was a wolf, a vicious wolf that was as insidious as a poisonous snake. Enforcer Dong did not like Su Mu's gaze. After leaving Danding City, Night Sorrow rode Tianyu to the last location of the Lu Mountain bandits. In the eastern Xian domain, the East Xian continent was filled with bandits. Only the powerful bandits would occupy a mountain and call themselves kings. Most of the bandits were roaming around because they were afraid of being exterminated. With the existence of Tianji Tower, once they provoked the rich, they would be exterminated. Some rogue cultivators were not polite to the bandits either. Robbing them was also a way to accumulate resources. These bandits, called the Lushan bandits, often appeared at Lushan Mountain. It was the place where a super expert, the Lushan Venerable, used to live. According to the information, these bandits would commit all kinds of crimes. They would burn, kill, rob, and even kill women and children. The mission this time was for the owner of a medicine shop in a small town in Danding City. When his daughter was returning to her husband's house from her parents' house, they encountered bandits from Lu Mountain. Everyone in the convoy was killed, including the old man's son-in-law, daughter, and 2 grandsons. His daughter's entire family was killed, which made the old man heartbroken. That was why he did not hesitate to go bankrupt to exterminate the Lu Mountain bandits. The Lu Mountain area was very large. It had a radius of 2,000 to 3,000 miles. The last place the Lu Mountain bandits appeared was the Lu Mountain Range. Knight Sorrow rode Tianyu for 2 days, and arrived at the Lu Mountain Range. On the way, he asked Tianyu to catch an azure flower python. 1 man and 1 bird roasted the azure flower python and ate it. This azure flower python was very heavy, around 200 to 300 kilograms. Roasting such a big thing was quite strenuous, but Yishan was prepared. He had placed 2 slender steel rods in his storage ring. He could skewer the prey on the steel rods and roast it. Tianyu's current appetite was shocking. Knight Sorrow knew that this was because Tianyu needed energy to grow. Knight Sorrow could not see through Tianyu's cultivation. However, when they were in the Longquan Mountain Villa, Knight Sorrow asked Aoi. Aoi told Knight Sorrow that Tianyu had reached the peak of the 2nd stage, and could enter the false core or core condensation stage at any time. Qingji also told Yishang that Tianyu was very likely to enter the core condensation stage without going through the false core stage. Whether it was a human or a demon beast, as long as they were talented and had a deep foundation, they didn't need to go through the false core stage, and could directly enter the core condensation stage from the essence gathering stage. After feeding Tianyu, Knight Sorrow took out a bear skin and spread it on the ground. He let Tianyu lie down and rest more comfortably. After letting Tianyu rest, Knight Sorrow also began to meditate and cultivate. This time, Knight Sorrow was not in a rush to do missions. There was no time limit for missions, so he could do them while cultivating. During this time, Knight Sorrow's Zhenqi had entered the essence gathering stage. At the same time, Knight Sorrow's myriad Dao Tome had also made great progress. He had already reached the late 7th level of the blood refining realm. After cultivating for a night, he got up early in the morning and washed up. Then he began to cultivate his spear arts and the mountain suppression hand. At the same time, he let Tianyu catch some prey. Knight Sorrow cultivated his spear arts for a while. Tianyu also returned. His 2 claws were holding an azure flower python and a rainbow pheasant in his mouth. Haha. Tianyu, that's right. You like to eat pythons, and I like to eat birds. Let's do it this way. Knight Sorrow came to a water source not far from where they were resting. He cleaned the pythons and pheasants and roasted them. As he grew, Tianyu's intelligence became higher and higher. Not only could he understand Knight Sorrow's words, he could also think and do things on his own. Just like this time, when he caught 2 kinds of prey. After eating, Knight Sorrow got on Tianyu's back and flew around the area, looking for traces of the Lu Mountain bandits. Without any results, 1 man and 1 bird rested and cultivated. Knight Sorrow was not in a hurry anyways. After a few days, Knight Sorrow still did not find any traces of the Lu Mountain bandits. Fortunately, it did not delay his cultivation. After they set up camp this time, Tianyu, who had eaten the food, flew into the air and circled around. After landing, Tianyu called out to Knight Sorrow twice, and then went to the innermost part of the canyon to lie down. After thinking for a while, Knight Sorrow understood that Tianyu was about to break through. He flew in the sky just now to investigate the situation, and see if there was any danger. Looking at Tianyu lying there, Knight Sorrow also closed his eyes and meditated. As long as he was not in closed-door cultivation, Knight Sorrow could deal with any unexpected situation at any time. After 2 days of no movement, Knight Sorrow was a little anxious and worried. However, he could only wait. Knight Sorrow's myriad Dao treasured tome had reached a bottleneck, but he did not have time to think about breaking through. He only wanted Tianyu to successfully break through. On the afternoon of the 3rd day, energy fluctuations appeared on Tianyu's body. The feathers on his body began to tremble and only stabilized after a while. L7Z edition plus _ first release. After observing for a while, Knight Sorrow discovered that Tianyu's aura was much stronger. He understood that Tianyu had successfully broken through. Relieved, Knight Sorrow carried his reincarnation spear and went to catch prey. He wanted to prepare the food when Tianyu woke up. When Knight Sorrow roasted a 600 to 700 gene smoked cow, Tianyu woke up. After a cry, he spread his wings and soared back and forth in the sky. His speed was 30% faster than before. After observing for a while, Night Sorrow made a judgment. After flying a few rounds, Tianyu landed beside Night Sorrow. Although Tianyu's body did not grow much, his aura was much stronger than before. Come and eat. Once you are full, I will also go into closed-door cultivation. After cutting 2 pieces of beef, Night Sorrow threw the whole cow to Tianyu. More than half of the 600 to 700 gene smoked cow was eaten by Tianyu. Okay, help me guard. Don't let the demonic beasts disturb me. After informing Tianyu, Night Sorrow went to the place where Tianyu had broken through. He sat down cross-legged and began his closed-door cultivation. He planned to enter the second stage of the Myriad Dao Treasured Tome as soon as possible. That way, his battle strength would greatly increase. He planned to use the Dragon Bone Pill after entering the 8th level of the Blood Refining Realm. That way, his cultivation would quickly reach the peak of the 8th level of the Blood Refining Realm. He would then stabilize his cultivation at the 9th level of the Blood Refining Realm and prepare to enter the second stage of the Myriad Dao Treasured Tome. Chapter 85. The first layer of the Myriad Dao Treasured Book was called the Blood Refining Realm, which was equivalent to the Qi Refining Realm. The second layer was the Muscle Strengthening Realm, which was equivalent to the Yuan Gathering Realm. The third layer was the Bone Tempering Realm, which was equivalent to the Core Condensation Realm. The fourth layer was the Unity Realm, which was equivalent to the Spirit Severing Realm. In the Blood Refining Realm, not only did one have to refine the heaven and earth spirit qi into one's blood to strengthen it, one also had to open up the large and small tendons in one's body. The second layer of the Myriad Dao Treasured Book was the Muscle Strengthening Realm, which was the true strengthening of the tendons. The first layer was only opened up, but if one cultivated to the second layer, Night Sorrow would be able to fight against cultivators at the same level as him without the need for qi. This time, Night Sorrow wanted to open up the tendons in the chest and abdomen. These 2 areas were small tendons. Although there were more, it wasn't very difficult. What was needed was the foundation. Only when the tendons in the dragon's neck, hands, and feet were all opened could this step be carried out. After eating the blood essence pill, Night Sorrow controlled the energy in his blood to rush towards his chest. Wave after wave of energy rushed towards his chest. When the energy was used up, he would use the blood essence pill to replenish it. At this time, there was no one present. If there was someone present, they would see Night Sorrow's robes fluttering like a loach. Itchy, painful. 2 unbearable feelings continuously attacked Night Sorrow's nerves. He clenched his teeth and endured, continuously sending the energy towards his chest. After nearly 2 hours, Night Sorrow's chest calmed down, and the energy in his body could smoothly pass through his chest. Half of the advancement was complete. Next, Night Sorrow continued to control the flow of energy through his chest and waist to his abdomen. The chest and abdomen were important parts of a cultivator, and it was very easy for them to receive fatal attacks. As long as the tendons in his chest and abdomen were opened up, Night Sorrow's body would become much stronger. Even if he received an attack, the energy in his chest and abdomen would be reduced by a bit. Time slowly slipped away. Night Sorrow's tendons in his abdomen were opened up one by one. The pain of opening his tendons made Night Sorrow's face turn pale. Broken bones and cramps. Night Sorrow was suffering from the pain of cramps. Fortunately, it didn't take long. After opening up his chest, Night Sorrow used another 2 hours to open up the tendons in his abdomen. With his chest and abdomen cleared, the Myriad Dao Tome's energy began to circulate in Night Sorrow's body. However, it was limited to the area below his neck. Opening up the meridians in the neck was something that a 9th-level blood refining realm cultivator had to do. After finishing his training, Night Sorrow stretched his body. Immediately, the bones in his arms and lumbar vertebrae creaked. Standing up, Night Sorrow drank 2 mouthfuls of wine, and then went to take a shower. Seeing Night Sorrow dive into the pool, Tianyu also flew into the air and fell into the pool. Night Sorrow laughed as he swam to Tianyu's side and played with Tianyu. At this moment he was very happy. With Tianyu accompanying him on the path of cultivation, he was very satisfied. After taking a shower, Night Sorrow combed Tianyu's feathers and continued to meditate. He wanted to stabilize his cultivation. After Night Sorrow stabilized his cultivation, Tianyu also brought back 2 types of prey. One was a python that he liked to eat, and the other was a bird that Night Sorrow liked to eat. After eating a delicious meal, Night Sorrow began to practice his spear arts. At this moment his spear arts had changed. Night Sorrow only left 3 waves of vibration energy on the body of the spear. The rest were added to the tip of the spear. Now the strength of his arms was close to 8 to 9,000 jin. He felt that there was no need to waste too much true qi on the body of the spear. The strength of his arms was enough. Even if it was not enough, the vibration energy could knock away the opponent's weapon or block. The reincarnation spear could also attack calmly. After eating, Night Sorrow rode on Tianyu and continued to search for the Lu Mountain bandits. This was his mission. Although he was not in a hurry, he could not completely ignore it. On the 3rd day, Night Sorrow found traces. In these 2 days, he had searched an area of 700 to 800 li. Night Sorrow discovered the target in the valley, when he was flying at a low altitude on Tianyu. However, Night Sorrow did not dare to confirm whether this group of people were the Lu Mountain bandits. He planned to investigate in secret. He made a secret signal with Tianyu. As long as he whistled, Tianyu would respond. After arranging Tianyu, Night Sorrow quietly returned. In the valley, there was a stone house, a cave, and a tree house on a tree. In one of the stone houses, 2 men were drinking wine and chatting. Big Brother, a subordinate, just reported that there was a flying demonic beast in the sky. It was not an adult yet, but it was very fast. We did not have the chance to catch it. A man wearing a tiger skin vest said. He was the second in command of the Lu Mountain bandits, Huangju. It is very difficult to catch a flying demonic beast without discovering its nest and setting up an ambush. We don't need to think about that now. We need to quickly gather the spirit stones and open the Lu Mountain Venerable's cave as soon as possible. That way, we won't have to live in fear every day. Once we obtain the treasures left behind by the Venerable, becoming experts will no longer be a dream. When that time comes, will we still need to run around and hide? A shirtless man wearing a beast skin cloak said. He was the boss of the Lu Mountain bandits. Huangjun, a few brothers have already gone out to scout. As long as there is a fat sheep, they will immediately report back. Huangju said. That won't do. It's too slow. I don't want to delay any longer. When the brothers return, we will find a small town and poison it. We will directly slaughter the whole town. We will need enough spirit stones to do this once. Huangjun shook the tiger skin cloak behind him and rubbed his bald head. I will listen to Big Brother. Huangju nodded. Night Sorrow approached the valley, but he did not dare to approach. He knew that the 2 leaders of the Lu Mountain bandits were at the peak of the 2nd order. This level of strength was nothing in the eyes of experts, but in the eyes of ordinary people, they were strong. Night Sorrow had met Zhang Sun and the others in Gunnan Town. They were also at the peak of the 2nd order. Furthermore, he was not sure if these people were the Lu Mountain bandits. Night Sorrow lay in ambush outside the valley. When he discovered that one of the bandits had returned, Night Sorrow rushed forward and chopped the back of the bandit's neck, knocking him unconscious and carrying him away. After carrying him for more than 10 li, Night Sorrow put the bandit down and poured some wine on the bandit's face. You stinky hunter! You dare to provoke the Lu Mountain bandits? Do you believe that we will exterminate your entire family? When the bandit woke up and saw Night Sorrow's clothes, he began to threaten him. At this time, Night Sorrow was wearing the linen robe made by Aunt Lin. How many people are there in the Lu Mountain bandits? Do you have a base? Night Sorrow asked coldly with his reincarnation spear pressed against the bandit's throat. You dare to kill me? The bandit's face changed. When he heard Night Sorrow's words, he understood that Night Sorrow was the one who was looking for trouble with the Lu Mountain bandits. Look at the 3rd authentic chapter. Section PFC. Chapter 86. Feeling the coldness from the tip of the reincarnation spear, The lackey knew that Night Sorrow was not trying to scare him. He really wanted to kill him. I'll talk. The lackey told him everything he knew. After listening to the lackey's confession, Night Sorrow knew that he had found the right place. This group of people were the Lu Mountain Bandits. Other than a few lackeys who went out to scout for information, almost all of them were in the kernel. This was one of their strongholds. Night Sorrow also asked about the location of the two bandit leaders. Night Sorrow stretched out his hand and took off the lackey's waistcoat. He then shook his head and said, "Being a bandit is not an unforgivable crime, but you should not have killed your entire family." After Night Sorrow finished speaking, he waved his reincarnation spear and slit the throat of this ferocious lackey. After putting on the waistcoat, Night Sorrow put the reincarnation spear into his storage ring. He rubbed his hair to make himself look like a lackey, and then walked towards the colonel. He planned to sneak in and take a look. When he arrived at the call, Night Sorrow did not directly enter. Although the possibility of being discovered was not high, he still did not want to take the risk. He advanced along the side of the call and avoided two sentry posts. He slid down the slope into the call and walked casually. Although his current outfit was not as valiant as the bandits, it was not too far off. He felt that there was no need to be nervous. There were so many bandits and it was not likely that they all knew each other. Night Sorrow walked towards the innermost part of the kernel. He knew that the two leaders of the Lu Mountain Bandits, Huang Jun and Huang Ju, were in the two stone houses in the innermost part of the kernel. As he got closer and closer to the call, Night Sorrow walked with the lackey's saber and pretended to be on patrol. A few bandits saw Night Sorrow but did not ask. Slowly, Night Sorrow approached the stone house. In the innermost part of the kernel outside the stone house stood two bandits. Night Sorrow did not approach. Instead, he walked back and forth, pretending to be on patrol. At this time, the door curtain of the stone house opened, and Huang Ju, wearing a tiger skin vest, came out. Matzi, bring a few jars of wine to my room." Huang Ju shouted at the bandit on guard duty. "All right, second master, please wait for a moment. Come with me to get the wine." Matzi waved at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow jogged over. If there was a chance to get close to the two bandit leaders, Night Sorrow would not let it go. Matzi led Night Sorrow to the east side of the mountain. As they walked, Night Sorrow's anger soared to the sky. This was because he saw 7 or 8 naked women in a cell. From this, one could tell how cruel the Zhuolu mountain bandits were. "What are you looking at? If you perform well, I will talk to the second master. You will have a chance." Matzi glared at Night Sorrow, then led Night Sorrow into a storeroom. Inside, there was smoked meat and jars of wine. Matzi carried 2 jars. Night Sorrow put his sword on his waist and followed Matzi to Huang Ju's stone house. There was no one on guard duty. There was another guard in the other stone house. Night Sorrow understood that the guard was a follower of Huang Jun. Matzi was a follower of second master Huang Ju. Huang Ju's stone house was very luxurious. The stone bed was covered with a velvet carpet, the floor was covered with animal skins, and the table had a candlestick made of gold. The chair he sat on had a bracelet of jewelry. On one side of the stone house, there was a wooden pole. A naked woman was tied to the pole. The woman's hands were pulled apart and fixed to the pole. The woman's head was lowered so Night Sorrow couldn't see her face. He could only tell that she was still alive from the rise and fall of her chest. "Damn it, my hands are itchy when I don't rob. You two drink with me," Huang Ju cursed. Matzi eagerly opened the jar of wine and poured a bowl for Huang Ju. Why do you look so unfamiliar?" Huang Ju looked at Night Sorrow and said, "Second master, this little one is new." Night Sorrow bowed and said, "Really, why did Ruffian 5 ask a newbie to patrol?" Matzi made fun of Ruffian 5. "I don't know. I will do as he says." Night Sorrow didn't know who Ruffian 5 was. "Okay, there are so many guards outside. We don't need you. Come drink." Huang Ju wasn't alarmed. The 3 took the wine bowls and started drinking. See only original version for #all other characters. Yes, pirated W. When the first jar of wine was finished, Huang Ju asked Matzi to arrange for some barbecued meat. Night Sorrow wanted to pour more wine for Huang Ju, but he found that one of the jars was empty. He turned around and opened another. When he took the wine jug, Yishang's mind flashed. With a shake of his hand, he put the wine jug into his storage ring. Then he took out the wine jug that Uncle Nyo had given him from his storage belt. He turned around and opened it in front of Huang Ju. The smell of alcohol is strong. Quick, pour more. Huang Ju smelled the alcohol as soon as he opened the jar. Good wine, but it's too strong. I didn't expect that the restaurant I robbed last time would have this kind of wine. Pour more. After drinking a bowl, Huang Ju's face turned red. He asked Night Sorrow to pour more wine. Huang Ju's alcohol tolerance wasn't bad, but after drinking a few bowls, he started to feel dizzy. Seeing that Huang Ju was about to collapse, Night Sorrow continued to pour more wine. Second leader, you have a good alcohol tolerance. Again. This wine is too good. Don't touch it. Only us brothers can drink it. Huang Ju was drunk, but he still remembered that good things shouldn't be given to others. Drink. I'll let you drink with your neck this time. Cursing in his heart, Night Sorrow continued to pour more wine for Huang Ju. When the jar of wine was finished, Huang Ju collapsed and laid on the ground. Night Sorrow took out his reincarnation spear and stabbed it into Huang Ju's throat. The intense pain made Huang Ju drunk. He grabbed the reincarnation spear in his throat and shook it. However, Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear had already pierced through his neck and pinned him to the ground. Huang Ju's legs kicked a few times and stopped moving. Save me. A weak voice could be heard. Night Sorrow turned around and looked at the source of the voice. He found that the naked girl who was tied to the wooden pillar had raised her head and was speaking. Her lips were dry and cracked. She must have been tortured for a long time. She woke up because Huang Ju's legs kicked the wooden pillar. Night Sorrow turned around and opened the jar of wine. He poured a bowl of wine for the girl. Don't make a sound. If I have the chance, I will definitely save you. If we don't kill the other bandit leader now, we won't be able to escape even if we run. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, the girl didn't say anything. She only gasped for breath. Night Sorrow poured some wine down Huang Ju's throat. He was afraid that the smell of blood would arouse other people's suspicions. As people who lived in the mountains, they were very sensitive to the smell of blood. After doing all this, Night Sorrow stood behind the door of the stone house and waited for Air Matzi to return. If he wanted to carry out the next step, he had to kill Air Matzi. Otherwise, when Air Matzi returned and discovered the situation here, he would shout and they would all be finished. After a quarter of an hour, Air Matzi returned while humming a tune. When he lifted the curtain, he was stunned. Huang Ju was lying in a pool of blood. While Air Matzi was in a daze, Night Sorrow made his move. His left hand strangled Air Matzi's neck, and his right hand forcefully pulled Air Matzi's head. Chapter 87. After killing Air Matzi, Night Sorrow pulled Air Matzi's body inside. Wait here. I will come and save you after I kill the boss. Don't make a sound. Night Sorrow said to the woman on the wooden pillar. At this moment, Yishang didn't dare to let go of the woman. He was worried that this woman, who had been tortured, would become agitated. It would be bad if she ran around when he went out. As for shouting, Yishang wasn't worried about that. This woman didn't have much strength. Even if she shouted, the other bandits would think that the second master was doing something and wouldn't care, much less come in. Night Sorrow took out 2 jars of Uncle Nyo's strong liquor. He held a jar in one hand and barbecued meat in the other. He went out of the stone house and walked towards Huang Jun's room. What are you doing? The guard in front of Huang Jun's room stopped Night Sorrow. The second boss said that this is good liquor, and asked me to bring it to the boss. Night Sorrow said. Looking at Night Sorrow, the bearded bandit with a scar on his forehead let Night Sorrow in. The second boss asked you to bring me good liquor. Open it. Let me see what good liquor it is. Huang Jun was originally thinking with his eyes closed, but he heard the conversation at the door. Night Sorrow put the barbecued meat on the table in front of Huang Jun, and then opened the jar of liquor. Greenblood's liquor was the best, but Night Sorrow didn't want to use it. Now that he took out Uncle Nyo's strong liquor, his heart ached. Hey, it smells good. Night Sorrow poured out a bowl of liquor. Huang Jun couldn't wait to drink it. Seeing Huang Jun drink a bowl, Night Sorrow poured more liquor. Huang Jun drank 3 bowls in a row. Scar, come in and drink. The bearded man standing guard at the door came in. Night Sorrow poured a bowl for him. Thank you, boss. Scar picked up the bowl and drank a bowl. Bandits were all fond of liquor. They needed strong liquor to numb their nervous emotions. Continue to pour the wine. Huang Jun drank to his heart's content, and let Night Sorrow continue to pour the wine. Night Sorrow's heart ached when he saw the two of them drinking one bowl after another. Only Uncle Nio's house had this wine. If they continued drinking like this, there would definitely not be any left in the 2 jars. A moment later, the jar of wine was emptied. Huang Ju and Scar were also drunk. What are you waiting for? Scar asked as he continued to pour the wine. Before Huang Jun could say anything, he had already started to feel tipsy. However, when there was less than half of the second jar of wine left, Huang Ju and Scar lay down one after another. It wasn't that they weren't vigilant, it was because their stronghold was really safe. Not to mention that there were many sentries. Even if there were no sentries, it would still be difficult to be discovered. Seeing the two fall down, Night Sorrow put away the half jar of wine. He then took out his reincarnation spear and swept it across Bazi's neck. Next he chopped towards Huang Jun's head. Just as Night Sorrow drew his spear, Huang Jun's nose twitched. He sat up and smelled blood. Huang Jun straightened up and saw Night Sorrow's spear coming at him. He instinctively blocked with his right hand. Gotcha! The reincarnation spear didn't stop at all, and chopped off his right arm. It then landed in front of Huang Jun's throat. Don't kill me, I have something to say. When Night Sorrow was about to draw his spear again, Huang Jun spoke. Fine, I will give you a chance. If you dare to shout, you will die immediately. The reincarnation spear in Night Sorrow's hand trembled once again. Huang Jun's left arm was also chopped off. Huang Jun endured the pain and didn't let himself scream. His forehead was full of sweat. Speak. Night Sorrow coldly looked at Huang Jun and said, I have a secret to tell you. I only want to live. Huang Jun clenched his teeth and said, Speak, let's see how valuable it is. Night Sorrow's expression didn't change at all. I have the treasure map to Lushan Venerable's cave. I know the way to enter. First, stop my bleeding. Otherwise, I will die. In order to live, Huang Jun could only reveal the most valuable thing he had on him. Cut. Night Sorrow took a step forward and pointed his finger at Huang Jun's right arm artery. You can use your true qi to control the speed of your other arm's bleeding. Speak quickly now. I don't have the patience. There is a yin and yang formation at the entrance of Lushan Venerable's cave. Due to the passage of time, the spirit stones at the base of the yin and yang formation don't have any spiritual energy. The formation is chaotic. Even if you know the way to enter, you can't enter. Therefore, you can only collect spirit stones to repair the yin and yang formation before entering. Huang Jun endured the pain and said, Where is the treasure map? Night Sorrow pointed his reincarnation spear at Huang Jun's throat and asked, I can't tell you. If I tell you, I will lose my value. As long as you swear not to kill me, I will tell you. Huang Jun's eyes looked at Night Sorrow. However, he inadvertently glanced at his right arm that was chopped off. Following Huang Jun's gaze, Night Sorrow noticed that there was a storage ring on Huang Jun's severed arm. I don't need you to tell me. No matter what price you pay, you won't be able to live because what you did was too vicious. Night Sorrow pushed his arm forward and the reincarnation spear pierced Huang Jun's throat. I can't accept this. No. With his throat pierced, Huang Jun couldn't speak clearly. However, his eyes reflected his unwillingness. Night Sorrow bent down and picked up Huang Jun's severed arm. He took off the ring on his finger and bit his finger to drip a drop of blood. He wanted to see if this was a storage ring or not. When the blood seeped into the ring, a special feeling appeared. A special space appeared in Night Sorrow's mind. After throwing the ring into his storage ring, Night Sorrow cut off Huang Jun's head and put it away. He glanced around the room and didn't find anything valuable. Then he left the stone house. After returning to Huang Ju's stone house, he put down the woman who was tied to the pillar in the room. After taking a closer look, Night Sorrow discovered that this woman who was about 20 years old, not only had a curvaceous figure, but her face was also very delicate. "Can you walk on your own?" Night Sorrow asked. He knew that he was about to face a great battle. The two bandit leaders with the highest cultivation had died, but there were still nearly 200 bandits left. There were even more rank 1 bandits. "I can." The woman put a piece of tiger skin on her body. However, it could only block the upper part of her body, but not the lower part. Night Sorrow kept Huangju's head and glanced at Huangju's stonehouse to see if he had missed anything. Finally, he noticed Huangju's storage belt and directly took it off. With the woman draped in tiger skin, Night Sorrow went to open the prison cell and released the women. "Follow me. If you die, then it's your bad luck. However, I will do my best." After releasing the women, Night Sorrow said to the group of women, "Thank you, sir. If we die, we won't blame you." A woman whose body was full of whip marks said, Chapter 88. In the blink of an eye, the book had almost 200,000 words. The main reason was that the updates were faster. The book was going to be published today, which meant that the excavator mode was activated. About the excavator. First, it can excavate automatically. I suggest that everyone choose this option. This is very convenient. As long as there is an update, 10 cool coins will be deducted from everyone's account, and the chapter will be given a free excavator. It is equivalent to spending 10 cents per chapter. If there is no update, the coins will not be deducted. There is another option, manually excavating. This is the best option for tycoons. If you have a certain level of financial ability and are willing to invest in a few thousand excavators, you can only use this option to excavate manually. Once you excavate, you will be able to see the new chapters instantly. If you do not have money, you can support yourself. Every day, you will receive a free excavator. As long as you follow the book, you will receive the excavator every day. Every book has to go through the process of being published. It is also a test of the quality of the book. The fans will follow the book and read it. The level of support from the fans is also a test of the author. I have been writing books for a long time. Other than writing, I have not done much promotion. Recently, I have only asked a few of my friends to post on Tieba. I do not know how to say anything emotional. All I can do is to write a book that everyone will like. Look at the original. Chapter 30 inches the future, he might not be able to update as he wished. It would depend on how much he could dig out. If he dug it out successfully, then the double update at 11 a.m. would not change. The double update before 5 p.m. would also not change. Another thing is the construction of the Myriad Daos Become God's Guild. The group chat has already been organized. Those who are willing to support the book can join the group chat and see how to set up the guild. Book group 332448350. Chapter 89. When Night Sorrow whistled, the bandits had already rushed over. However, Tianyu was the first to arrive. Tianyu, guard them. Don't let anyone get close. After instructing Tianyu, Night Sorrow rushed forward and began to fight with the bandits. Night Sorrow used the 6 waves of vibration force to fight with the bandits whose cultivation was similar to his. The reincarnation spear was like a flood dragon. Every time it stabbed or slashed, a bandit would fall. He used the 6 waves of vibration force to conserve his true chi. Tianyu protected the 10 or so women behind him and followed. As Night Sorrow advanced, more and more bandits died under the reincarnation spear. Night Sorrow's feet were slippery with blood. Night Sorrow was not a person who liked to kill. However, these Lu Mountain bandits were too cruel. Every time they robbed, they were ruthless and merciless. Other than the beautiful women, they killed everyone else. It could be said that they were extremely vicious. When Night Sorrow was in the prison cell, he saw that other than a bucket for washing, there was no bedding in the cell. The women's bodies were covered with whip marks. They had been abused quite a bit. This made Night Sorrow even angrier. After a quarter of an hour, Night Sorrow had killed 40 to 50 bandits. Night Sorrow's body was covered in blood. Kill. He's almost exhausted. A bandit leader shouted loudly. Night Sorrow sneered in his heart. He's almost exhausted? There was still 2/3 of the true chi in his dantian. The energy in his body was not consumed much either. The battle continued and the bandits fell one after another. The women walking in the pool of blood all turned pale. It was not that they had never seen a massacre. Their family members had all been killed by bandits. However, the situation back then was not as tragic as it was now. Night Sorrow did not even need to choose his targets. As long as they were in his way, he would kill them. As long as they wanted to run, he would chase after them and kill them. Night Sorrow didn't show any mercy. He knew that these people had bad natures. If he didn't kill them today, they would run away and do evil again. They killed their way to the entrance of the colonel's 70 to 80 bandits had already fallen, and the remaining 100 or so were standing at the entrance. Tianyu, if you see anyone running away, kill them all. Night Sorrow shouted at Tianyu as he charged towards the bandits surrounding him. Spear techniques were suitable for group battles. The longer the spear, the stronger the spear would be. The bandits simply couldn't get close to Night Sorrow. Before they could even get close, they would be killed by Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear. As the battle progressed, Night Sorrow also discovered his weakness, which was his slow speed. Some of the bandits were faster and retreated after one attack, dodging Night Sorrow's killer move. Night Sorrow had thought about this problem before, but Gong Xian had said that without the sex contribution points, he wouldn't be able to obtain the sex battle techniques. He would only be able to obtain a free set of battle techniques. Night Sorrow's free set of battle techniques was the chasing wind spear technique, while his mountain suppression hand was obtained from Fengchen. As the battle continued, Night Sorrow's energy consumption increased. Night Sorrow's number of bandits decreased. A portion of them had already escaped, but many of them died under Tianyu's claws. The battle continued for an hour. Night Sorrow's true chi was almost exhausted, and the battle was over. Night Sorrow didn't know how many of his bandits had escaped, but the number couldn't be large. With Tianyu chasing after them, they could only escape into the forest or into the blind spots of Tianyu's attacks. "All right, you're all safe now. You can go home," Night Sorrow said to the group of bandits. "Sir, I have nowhere else to go. I'm willing to follow my benefactor as a servant." One of the women Night Sorrow had rescued from the prison knelt down and said, "Me too. Everyone in the village has been killed by these demons. Please take us in." Another woman knelt down as well. After the woman finished speaking, the other women knelt down as well. Night Sorrow felt a headache coming on. He had rescued these people, but he couldn't leave them behind. If he left them behind, they would all be dead. Look at / a 5D version EV above P caret, sir. We can be your servants, the kneeling women said. "All right, I'll think of something. Let's find a place to rest first." Night Sorrow nodded and led the group of women away from the valley. After walking for a few dozen kilometers, they found a place with a water source. Night Sorrow had everyone rest while Tianyu went hunting. "Sister, you didn't let that guy have his way, did you?" A woman in her 30s who had been rescued from the prison asked the woman Yi Shang had rescued from Huang Ju's room. "Yes, I didn't. Although he kept torturing me. I said that if he dared to force himself on me, I would kill myself. That's why I didn't. But it doesn't make a difference," the woman in animal skin said. Night Sorrow understood what the woman meant. Although she was still pure, she had suffered a lot. When he rescued her, Night Sorrow had noticed that her chest had been tattooed. It was a bleeding wolf head tattoo. And there was also a metal ring on the key parts. "Let's not talk about this. I don't have any suitable clothes here. When we get to the town, I'll go in and buy some for you." Night Sorrow wasn't used to being with a group of naked women. Although these women had been tortured, their figures were still good. Otherwise, the bandits wouldn't have kept them. Tianyu caught some prey, and Night Sorrow roasted it. At the same time, he was thinking about what to do with these women. Night Sorrow had two choices. One was to send these people to South Sky City's Juyuan town, and the other was to arrange for them to live in Longquan Mountain's courtyard. The courtyard was so big that it needed servants. While eating, Night Sorrow asked these people for their opinions. If they wanted to live freely, he would arrange for them to live in Juyuan town. If they didn't want to, They would go to his courtyard in Longquan Mountain. Sir, I'll go to the courtyard to help you clean it. When I was at home, I followed my father to do business. I can help you do things that I can, the woman in tiger skin said. She was called Hai Luo. Okay, then come with me to the courtyard. You all should think about your future. Zhuyuan Town is a simple place. If I don't say anything, no one will know what happened to you. No one will care. You can even get married and start a family, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow's words made these people fall into deep thought. After a while, they had two choices. After all, people pursued different lives. After resting for the night and eating breakfast, Yishang gave Hai Luo a set of his own robes. Hai Luo didn't have any misgivings and changed her clothes in front of Night Sorrow. After all, in Huangju's room and on the way here, Night Sorrow had seen everything that he shouldn't have seen. Whether he avoided it or not was a matter of form. Chapter 90. Although these women had been tortured, the women in the mountains had very strong physiques. It took them 4 days to reach the nearest town. Yishang first went into the town to buy clothes for the group of people. He brought them back for them to wear before leading everyone into the town. After finding an inn, Night Sorrow let everyone take a hot bath and rest. Then he went to find a beast carriage. Although Night Sorrow was thinking about Lu Shan Venerable's cave, he knew that it was not a good time to explore it. First of all, it was inconvenient to bring a group of women, and second of all, he was not prepared. Although Huang Jun was a bandit, he was still very poor. This kind of poverty only applied to cultivators. He didn't have many cultivation resources, but he did have some spirit stones. They were low-grade spirit stones, and there were also a few bottles of pills. Each bottle contained a pill. Yishuang didn't say anything. After comparing it with Feng Chen's alchemy manual, Night Sorrow found that it was a very rare face-preserving pill. This was also the reason why these pills were left behind. If they were cultivation-aiding pills, then Huang Jun would have used them all. The rest were just some yellow and white things which were useless to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow also found the map of Lu Shan Venerable's cave. It was an ancient map. Night Sorrow suspected that Huang Jun had some fortuitous encounter, otherwise he would not have obtained these things. Storage rings were very precious to cultivators. At the very least, it was very difficult for cultivators below the 4th tier to obtain them. Night Sorrow guessed correctly. Huang Jun got this when he robbed a village. That village was where Lu Shan Venerable's descendants lived. Lu Shan Venerable's last words were that if there were any talented juniors, then they should take the ancient map and find the cave he left behind. Look at the original version. Chapter A, Section H. There were no outstanding talents among Lu Shan Venerable's descendants, but there were still many cultivators. However, this village was first poisoned by Huang Jun, and then slaughtered. The village chief took out the storage ring and the ancient map to beg for the bloodline of his people, but in the end, the village was still slaughtered by Huang Jun. Of course, Night Sorrow did not know about this. While resting, Yishang wondered if he should find some guards in town to escort these women to Danding City. He would leave first. However, he soon gave up on the idea. He was still worried about the dangers on the road. Since he had already saved them, he would deal with the matter properly. It would be best if he didn't have any regrets. After a night of cultivation, Night Sorrow washed up and came out of the room. When he saw these women, his eyes lit up. They were all rare beauties. This also let Yishan know the reason why they were able to survive. The bandits' foresight was not fake. Night Sorrow found 2 beast carriages and set off with the women. Tianyu flew in the air, checking the situation. The 2 men driving the carriages were all year-round transporting goods. It was rare for them to not transport goods and only take customers, so they thought highly of Night Sorrow. Hai Luo and the other 4 women sat in a beast carriage with Night Sorrow. Hai Luo boiled water on the charcoal and made tea for Night Sorrow. Have you all recovered? Night Sorrow asked. He had taken out healing medicine for the past few days to heal everyone. Sir, we have all recovered. A woman a few years older than Hai Luo said. No need to call me sir, just call me Night Sorrow. What is your name? Night Sorrow took the tea from Hai Luo and asked. My name is Luawei, the woman said in a low voice. And good name. Don't be depressed. Let bygones be bygones. No matter what happens today, the sun will rise tomorrow, Night Sorrow said. He could see that the woman named Luawei was in a bad mood. Sir is right. Luawei didn't change the way she addressed him. She nodded at Night Sorrow, but her eyes brightened a bit. After chatting for a bit, Night Sorrow closed his eyes and began to meditate. After entering the Yuan gathering realm, Night Sorrow needed to accumulate true qi the most. Similarly, after entering the blood refining realm, his cultivation base would rapidly increase. The women in the carriage were sizing up Night Sorrow. At this moment, Night Sorrow was very quiet, just like a young master from an aristocratic family. However, the scene of Night Sorrow's bloody massacre was still in their minds. They were two extremes. While Night Sorrow was hurrying along, in the courtyard of Longquan Mountain, Aoi was a bit anxious. Night Sorrow had been gone for many days without any news. She felt very uneasy. Sister Aoi, don't worry. Night Sorrow is different from his peers. He is calm and has battle experience. Nothing will happen to him, Sikong Chiyu, who had done a few missions with Night Sorrow, said. I know what you're saying, but I still feel uneasy. Aoi sighed. Then I'll go to Tianji Tower to check what mission Night Sorrow took and where it leads, Sikong Chiyu said. Don't. If you go out, then you'll have been hiding in vain. Wait a bit longer. If there's still no news, I'll go check. Aoi shook her head. However, she was very excited. Sikong Chiyu did this because he really treated Night Sorrow as a friend. With Flying Feather to scout, the beast carriage didn't have to worry about danger, and could travel at full speed. It took them more than 3 days to reach Danding City. Yishang didn't hand in the mission, but brought the girls back to Longquan Mountain Villa first. When Night Sorrow paid for the beast carriage, Aoi and Sikong Chiyu arrived at the gate of the courtyard. What are you doing? Are you trying to be the king of the mountain? Seeing Night Sorrow return with 2 carriages full of beautiful women, Aoi was angry. She walked up to Night Sorrow and pinched his ear. 6th senior sister, listen to me. They were robbed by the mountain bandits. They don't have any family. I brought them back to ask you to arrange for them. Night Sorrow grimaced. He had cultivated the myriad Tao Tome, so his body was strong. However, he did not cultivate his ears. Sister Aoi, let's go in first. Sikong Chiyu said with a smile. Aoi let go of his hand. Little 6, go arrange for them to get some food. Aoi and Sikong Chiyu brought Night Sorrow into the courtyard. Tell me what's going on? Aoi asked. Night Sorrow told her about the mission, the situation of the women, and his plan. Yes, going to Bamboo Garden Town is a good arrangement. If you don't want to go to Bamboo Garden Town, then stay in the monastery. Such a large monastery needs people to take care of it. If we only rely on little 6 and the others, we'll be dog-tired. Qingji approved of Yi Shang's decision. 6th senior sister, I have a gift for you. Night Sorrow took out 2 bottles of everlasting beauty pills and handed them to Aoi. A Sikong Chiyu. Aoi opened the bottle and looked at it. She did not know what kind of pill it was. Chapter 91. Is it the face-preserving pill that won't change one's appearance even if one dies of old age after consuming it? Aoi asked in astonishment. It might be a little exaggerated to say that it won't change at all, but it will only change a little. Sikong Chiyu said with a smile. 13. Where did you get this treasure? Aoi looked at Night Sorrow excitedly. She could not understand how he could get his hands on such a pill. It's an unexpected gain. 6th senior sister. Give this face-preserving pill to 9th senior sister when the time comes. Night Sorrow took out a jade screen and said, Your 9th senior sister doesn't need it. As long as she reaches the 5th level of the Void Inquiry stage, her appearance will not change. Sikong Chiyu told Night Sorrow about the general knowledge of cultivation. I see. Then I won't give it to her. 6th senior sister, this is also for you. Night Sorrow took out Huang Jun's storage ring and passed it to Aoi. This storage ring was not as big as Night Sorrow's original storage ring. In addition, when Night Sorrow saw that Aoi was still using a storage belt, he planned to give it to her. This is. Aoi asked while holding the storage ring. Storage ring. Give it to me first. I'll remove the ownership. Night Sorrow reached out his hand and took the storage ring from Aoi's hand. He circulated his true chi and forced the drop of blood out of the storage ring. Some spiritual treasures needed to recognize their owners, and storage rings were considered the lowest grade of spiritual treasures. Normally, there were only 3 ways to remove the ownership. The first way was the owner's death. The second way was if the person who obtained the spiritual treasure was strong enough to erase the original owner's imprint. The third way was for the owner to take back control of the spiritual treasure. 13. Don't just keep it. Senior Sister's storage belt is also a supreme grade spiritual treasure. Aoi tried to stop Night Sorrow. However, Night Sorrow's actions were very fast. When she spoke, Night Sorrow had already removed the ownership. 6. Senior Sister, I've had this for a while. Night Sorrow waved his left hand and showed his storage ring to Aoi. You sure are rich. Seeing that Night Sorrow still had a storage ring, Aoi took it without hesitation. Sikong, you have a storage ring. Don't look at me like that, Night Sorrow said when he saw Sikong Chiyu staring at him. If I don't have one, will you give it to me? Sikong Chiyu asked with a smile. Yes, of course. Night Sorrow nodded without hesitation. 6. Senior Sister took advantage of you. Aoi took the storage ring and put it on her finger. Sister Aoi, your junior brother is really good to you. Sikong Chiyu glanced at Night Sorrow and said. Night Sorrow smiled and got up to make tea. Aoi asked about the origin of Night Sorrow's storage ring. Yishang didn't hide anything and told him everything he'd gained this time. I didn't expect you to be so lucky. When do you plan to go to Lushan's cave abode? Aoi asked. Later. I plan to learn a movement technique. My movement technique is slow and inflexible in battle. That's a huge weakness, Night Sorrow said. I have a movement technique here. Take it and try it. Sikong Chiyu thought for a moment before taking out a book and handing it to Night Sorrow. Starter 2. Night Sorrow didn't take the book. He glanced at Sikong Chiyu and shook his head. This isn't suitable. Regardless of whether it was in a sect or a family, the cultivation techniques of every force couldn't be leaked. Night Sorrow didn't want Sikong Chiyu to face problems in the future. This is mine. My grandfather gave it to me. Take it. Sikong Chiyu grabbed Night Sorrow's hand and stuffed the book into Night Sorrow's hand. Sikong, we are all friends. Under normal circumstances, we won't stand on ceremony. However, this book isn't suitable. Aoi also spoke up. She didn't want Sikong to be scolded in the future. Then I'll say a few more words. My grandfather is a very strong cultivator. He created his own force. He won't care about the inheritance of these battle techniques. Take it and cultivate. Sikong Chiyu smiled at Night Sorrow. Hearing Sikong Chiyu's words, Night Sorrow put away the book. Aoi told Night Sorrow that she would take care of those women. He didn't need to worry about them. Cultivating diligently was the most important thing. Yishang also mentioned that he had entered Sumu. It seems Sumu walks the same path as you. You both value actual combat. His cultivation base is much higher than yours. That's your disadvantage. Sikong Chiyu analyzed. Night Sorrow nodded. He understood Sikong Chiyu's words. Night Sorrow didn't plan on continuing to do missions. He wanted to raise his true chi cultivation base as quickly as possible. He also wanted to cultivate the myriad Dao Tome to the muscle-strengthening realm. When Night Sorrow went back to cultivate, Aoi gathered the women he had brought with him. After asking for their opinions, Aoi took out her command medallion and sent Little Six to Danding City to find Su Zhonglin. Su Zhonglin arranged for these women to be escorted to Zhuyuan town. Su Zhonglin was the supervisor of the outer disciples of the Taishan Peak. He also managed all the businesses of the Taishan Peak. He was also the second protector of the Taishan Peak. He had always been stationed in Danding City. Aoi also gave the women some gold notes. A portion of it was for Father Gu. The rest was for them to settle down in Zhuyuan town. Night Sorrow opened the movement technique manual that Sikong Chiyu had given him. This manual was called Dragon Soar to the Nine Heavens. It was divided into 3 levels: Dragon Leap, Dragon Soar, and Dragon Soar. Night Sorrow opened the chapter on Dragon Leap and started to study it. After reading it, Night Sorrow smiled. The most difficult part of cultivating Dragon Sword to the 9 heavens was to open up certain meridians in the legs. However, Night Sorrow's meridians were all open. With the book in hand, Night Sorrow moved around the room and practiced the dragon leap movement technique. There was a bed, a desk, and a chair in Yishang's cultivation room. Night Sorrow moved faster and faster. However, his body didn't touch the desk or the chair. After cultivating for a while, Night Sorrow was very satisfied. He put down the manual, took the reincarnation spear, and went to the center of the courtyard. He executed the chasing wind spear art. While executing the chasing wind spear art, Night Sorrow also executed the dragon leap steps. His body would sometimes advance and sometimes retreat. His movements were erratic. In the beginning, he was still a little shaky. However, his body slowly became more and more agile. This made Sikong Chiyu, who was watching from the side, mutter, "Sister Aoi, Night Sorrow is too much. I cultivated Dragon Sword to the 9 heavens and earth, and used over 10 days to open up my meridians. This guy took it for one night, and now he's cultivating it. Hehe 13. I don't know about him. However, he is indeed too much. He cultivated a rank 2 combat skill when he was only at rank 1. He is the second one among us to cultivate Heaven Covering Hand. 9th junior sister cultivated Heaven Covering Hand only after she had a certain cultivation foundation," Aoi said with a smile. Chapter 92. Sure, as long as there's an invitation. I'll invite you when the time comes, Aoi said with a smile. Then I'll definitely go. Don't forget Sister Aoi. Sikong Chiyu nodded. Okay. Aoi nodded. Night Sorrow was getting more and more familiar with his footwork as he practiced his spear arts. After watching Night Sorrow train, Aoi picked up her sword and appeared in front of Night Sorrow in a flash. She attacked Night Sorrow with her sword. Night Sorrow, who was under attack, began to counterattack. After Night Sorrow counterattacked, Aoi began to defend. She didn't suppress her cultivation. She waved her sword and forced Night Sorrow back again and again. Night Sorrow loosened and tightened his grip to control the rebound force. Night Sorrow's strength was strong, but Aoi's chi was stronger. Her chi completely neutralized Night Sorrow's strength. It was even transmitted to Night Sorrow's hands and arms through her weapon. This made Night Sorrow, who had a strong grip, have to tighten and relax his grip to control the force transmitted to him. After being forced back, Night Sorrow continued to charge forward. He used Dragon Leap steps and Wind Spear arts to continuously attack Aoi. He wasn't worried about hurting Aoi. The difference in their cultivation was too big. Night Sorrow kept on attacking, while Aoi stood in place and kept on defending. She mainly wanted Night Sorrow to unleash all of his attacks. Stop. You're tormenting me to death. My arms are numb. After fighting for 15 minutes, Aoi shouted. Most, 0 quickly go to GG. After Aoi shouted, Night Sorrow stopped. Can you bear it? Aren't your arms numb? Don't they hurt? Aoi asked curiously as she looked at Night Sorrow's lifeless body. Every time I attack, Senior Apprentice Sister's Genchi will reflect a bit of pain. And then I'll be fine, Night Sorrow said. Sister Aoi, is he really that crazy? Sikong Chiyu said with a smile. I'm not going to argue with him. I'll call Old 9 over in a few days. Old 9 is very strong. Let Old 9 train him, Aoi said as she swung her arms. 6th Senior Sister, what's the matter? Why did you call me? Suddenly, a voice rang out. Yang Lei, who was wearing a green robe and a white veil, had arrived. 9th Junior Sister is here. I just practiced with 13 for a while. My arms can't take it anymore, Aoi said while rubbing her arms. So ruthless? Let me give it a try. 13, can you do it? Yang Lei asked Night Sorrow. Of course. Night Sorrow nodded. Okay, then let's do it. I haven't used a weapon for many years. Yang Lei took out a 3-inch wide and 4-foot long black sword from her storage ring. Night Sorrow's feet shook. He took 3 steps forward and thrust his spear towards Yang Lei's right arm. You're still being polite with me. Back off. Yang Lei swung her right arm, and the black sword swung towards Night Sorrow's spear. However, The result was different from Yang Lei's expectations. When the weapons clashed, Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear vibrated violently and blocked Yang Lei's black sword. It continued to slash towards Yang Lei. At this moment, Yang Lei extended 2 fingers on her left hand and tapped the reincarnation spear's body. The reincarnation spear that didn't have enough momentum was knocked away. You're really not simple. Continue. Yang Lei shook the sword in her right hand and said. Night Sorrow took 2 steps forward and brandished his spear once again. After Yang Lei switched places with Aoi, Night Sorrow poured all of his vibration energy into the spear. He knew that among Yang Yu's disciples, Yang Lei was the only one who had cultivated the heaven-covering hand. Her body was the toughest and her strength was also the strongest. Yang Lei was the same as Aoi. She only defended and attacked, allowing Night Sorrow to continuously attack. Following the continuous attacks and continuous repulsion, Night Sorrow discovered that his arms were shaken. The energy in his flesh and blood circulated faster and deeper. This battle continued for more than an hour before Night Sorrow stopped. His true chi and the energy in his body were completely exhausted. Alright, this is the best time to cultivate. Hurry up and cultivate, Yang Lei said after sheathing her sword. Night Sorrow nodded towards Yang Lei, Aoi, and Sikong Chiyu. He returned to his room to cultivate. He also knew that when his true chi and body were exhausted, it was the best time to cultivate. Not only is the 13 strength Dao extremely powerful, the vibration energy in the spear technique is also very hard to deal with. Yang Lei rubbed her fingers as she watched Night Sorrow's figure disappear. And it's good that you're here. I can't afford to be your sparring partner, Aoi said. Alright, that's not a big deal. I cultivate wherever I go. This time, I brought Ziming, Chuning, Mazhuang and Tang Tian. Ziming will cultivate with me. Chuning, Mazhuang, and Tang Tian have all entered the essence gathering realm. They're going to Tianji Tower to complete a mission. They're shopping and will come over later, Yang Lei said. Ziming was Jiang Ziming, Yang Lei's disciple. Their cultivation speed is very fast. However, compared to 13, they're still a lot slower, Aoi said. Yang Lei nodded. Chuning, Tang Tian, and Mazhuang were all very outstanding. However, compared to Night Sorrow, they were still a lot slower. In the following days, once Night Sorrow's true chi and body were full of energy, he would spar with Yang Lei. Once his true chi and body were exhausted, he would cultivate. This made Chuning, Tang Tian, Mazhuang, and Jiang Ziming, who had arrived at Longquan Courtyard, very shocked. They didn't expect Night Sorrow to be so strong. When Night Sorrow went to cultivate, Mazhuang and Yang Lei sparred once. Yang Lei used the same strength and Mazhuang's long sword was sent flying. No need to doubt. I used the same strength just now. I didn't control my cultivation. Yang Lei looked at Mazhuang and the others and said, 13. 13th uncle is too powerful, Chuning said. 13 was glared at by Yang Lei, so she quickly changed her words. If you want to do the task, then do it. If you're not sure, then stay here and cultivate. By the way, 9th junior sister, how is Shenrong doing? Aoi looked at Yang Lei and asked. He's doing well with eldest senior brother. Eldest senior brother is stricter than you. He needs to suffer a bit, but now he has gone to 3rd senior brother. Eldest senior brother is in seclusion. Yang Lei said with a smile. Shenrong was Aoi's disciple. When Aoi came to Longquan Courtyard, she handed Shenrong to Gong Xian. Gong Xian was now in seclusion, so he was handed over to Nan Nan. The days of practicing with Yang Lei, and then going to cultivate hard made Night Sorrow's cultivation progress very fast. When his true chi and energy in his body were exhausted, he would use spirit congealing pills and blood essence pills to replenish them. Then he would practice with them again. This was a process of consumption and precipitation. His cultivation progress was fast, but it was not superficial at all. When Night Sorrow practiced with Yang Lei again, Mazhuang, Tang Tian, and Chuning came back. All 3 of them were bruised and swollen. What's the matter? Yang Lei, who stopped practicing with Night Sorrow, was full of anger. We went to take the task and were scolded by a person. We didn't accept it, so we were beaten. Chuning said while rubbing his black and blue eyes. Who is the other party? Yang Lei asked coldly. He said his name is Su Mu. Chu Ning said, still rubbing his eyes. He was hit with a panda eye. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.